It is brainstorming, scientific, sharing, absolutely non-commercial, platform where we can share our thoughts, where we can exchange our knowledge, and we can provide something to next generation. Thank you all for your overwhelming support, due to which we have been able to achieve 414th milestone today. And today is the unique subject. In my opinion, various allopathic companies are now modernizing themselves, and in the treatment of cancer, generally morphine, iphene, bhanga, these are being used. But in Ayurvedic products, generally manufacturers are avoiding these. I don't know why. Now we are Rampal Somani ji. Well, I welcome Rampal Somani ji. I welcome respected CV Jha sir, respected Madan Thangvelu sir, respected Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji, and all the dignitaries, including our keynote speaker of the day. Today, we are really grateful to Dr. Ravi Narayan Acharya, Director General, Central Council of Research in Ayurveda and Siddha. So, he has given his consent with short notice. So, thank you all again. And by these activities, definitely we will be gaining our confidence. I am thankful to Dr. Piyush Juneja also, because Piyush Juneja is also working on the same topic. I am observing that various hemp events he has organized. So today is the unique subject. I appreciated more that pain, inflammation, sciatica, brain, memory. I don't know what are the miraculous effect of Vijaya, Bhanga, Matulani, Madini, Madhikarani, whatever it may be, but that neurochemical effect is excellent of cannabis or Vijaya or hemp, we can say. In Ayurveda, we can say Vijaya. So now, without wasting much time, I would like to request Professor Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji for his welcome address. He is former principal, Government Ayurvedic College, Guwahati, and President Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, Assam. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Namaskar. Good evening, everybody. Professor Thangali, respected Professor V.K. Agnihotri, respected Pawan Kumar Sharma, distinguished guest, eminent speaker, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we have one important webinar on Vijaya Hemp, the unique drugs. In this webinar, we have eminent speaker, Dr. Ravi Narayan Acharya, Director General, Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Science. I welcome Dr. Ravi Narayan Acharya for this evening webinar. Next, Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Pandey, Professor and Head of the Department of Sangaharan, IMS, BHU. I welcome Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Pandey also. Next, Dr. Mallikarjun Rao, Professor. I welcome him. Dr. Piyush Juneja from Ghaziabad. I welcome Dr. Piyush Juneja. Next, Dr. Madhu Sharma from Haridwar. I welcome all the eminent speakers to this evening webinar on Vijaya Hemp, the unique drugs, along with all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to this evening webinar. Thank you. Namaskar. Over to Pawanji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So now, we have today Dr. CV Jha sir, for his initial blessings. Then I would like to request Professor Madan Thangvelu sir for initial moderation, as he has meeting with other country also. Welcome, welcome sir. Jha sahab, आपका आशीर्वाद.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार, मेरी आवाज पहुंच रही है?
हाँ जी,
जी।
प्रणाम जी.
सभी लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार. और today's topic is again very valuable, और the speakers, particularly Professor Ravi Narayan Acharya ji and Professor K.K. Pandey ji. I know him very closely, and they are using on their patient, and particularly Ravi Narayan Acharya ji has worked on this bhanga, a nice work we can say. तो मैं ये कहूँगा कि पवन शर्मा जी का जो कंसर्न है कि दुनिया यूज कर रही है, दूसरी सिस्टम जो है वो यूज कर रही है, एलोपैथिक सिस्टम, मॉर्फिन और क्या कहते हैं, जितने भी इस तरह के नारकोटिक्स हैं उन सबको खूब बढ़िया से यूज कर रही है, लेकिन हम आयुर्वेद वाले यूज नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. तो इस मंच के माध्यम से गवर्नमेंट को एक मैसेज जाएगा, और जैसा कि आप खास करके भंगा के बारे में, मॉर्फिन के बारे में तो सब हम लोग जानते हैं कितना क्या उसका इस्तेमाल हो रहा है. हम लोग जरूर उससे वंचित रह रहे हैं, कम कर पा रहे हैं, लेकिन भांग के बारे में ढेर सारा पब्लिकेशन, आप नेट पर जाएंगे तो कैंसर से लेकर के, और कैंसर में भी प्रोस्टेट कैंसर है, लंग कैंसर है, फिर क्या कहते हैं इंसोम्निया है, जीआईटी प्रॉब्लम है, मतलब जिस भी प्रॉब्लम, पार्किंसन है, एल्जाइमर है, दुनिया भर के डिजीज पर इसका वर्क लोगों ने किया है और अच्छे रिपोर्ट्स दिए हैं. मैं अभी थोड़ी देर पहले पवन जी के उस पर एक भेजा हूँ फोटो, जो भंगा का इंडस्ट्रियल यूज जो हो रहा है उसमें मैंने कुछ टी शर्ट्स उसमें दिखाए हैं, ब्रीफ केस दिखाए हैं, और उससे बनने वाला साबुन वहां पर है, ब्रिक्स हैं. ये सब भांग के इंडस्ट्रियल यूजेस भारत में तो कम हो पा रहा है, लेकिन विदेशों में बहुत ज्यादा. मुझे जैसा किसी ने बताया कि अजंता की गुफा में जो सारे पेंटिंग्स हैं उसमें भांग का प्रयोग हुआ है कलर के लिए, और खास करके जो बिल्डिंग मटेरियल के रूप में भी भांग का इस्तेमाल पूर्व काल में होता रहा है, ऐसा भी मुझे किसी के माध्यम से जानकारी मिली. और जो भी उसके बने हुए हैं उसकी पॉलिश और फिर जो उसकी फिनिशिंग है वो, और उसकी मजबूती, वो इतना अधिक कि कई सौ साल पहले बनने के बाद भी अभी भी उसको सुरक्षित लोग मानते हैं. तो ये सारा उपयोग इंडस्ट्रियल और खास करके मेडिसिनल, दोनों प्रकार के यूज भांग के खूब पर्याप्त मिलते हैं. और मेरे ही परिचय में एक सज्जन है जिन्होंने ये क्या कहते हैं, क्लॉथ, भांग से, भांग के थ्रेड से क्लॉथ बनाने का, पर्टिकुलरली हमसे, जैसा उन्होंने बताया कि नरेंद्र नगर में उन्होंने एक डाला है यूनिट, तो उसमें कलर की बात हो रही थी, और कलर के लिए भी जो डिफरेंट नेचुरल सोर्स हैं उससे उसको कलर देने की बात की जा रही. तो ये सारा भांग के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन उपलब्ध होता है. आज के वक्ता, जैसा मैंने बताया कि अच्छा खासा भांग के ऊपर क्लिनिकल उपयोग से लेकर के और लिटरेरी और क्या कहते हैं रिसर्च पर अच्छा खासा किए हुए हैं. तो इन लोगों के माध्यम से हमें भांग के बारे में और भी सुनने को मिलेगा. तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं पवन जी से आग्रह करता हूँ, बधाई भी देता हूँ जिस तरह से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. और ये कितना 414वां कौन सा है?
हाँ जी,
414वां एपिसोड. तो बधाई देता हूँ इस बात के लिए, और आगे बढ़ते रहें, और इस माध्यम से ज्ञान का क्या कहते हैं एक प्रवाह चलता रहे, हम सभी लाभान्वित होते रहे. धन्यवाद.
I would like to request Professor Badan sir for starting the moderation and then invite Dr. Ravi Narayan Acharya, Director General of CCRAS, Madan sir.
Pawanji Pranam, thank you for bringing all of us together. I want to start, Jasa Pranamji, thank you for being here with us. I want to start with the thoda sa ek screen share kare to ye sahi rahega. This is a research publication that came from the Central Council Research Ayurvedic Sciences, Vijayawada mein hai institute. It's called the old Rajendra Nagar Regional Ayurveda Research Institute for Skin Disorders, Vijayawada. So unke wahan se there is a paper, that review paper, and I have found this a very, very valuable paper. Its key title, Conceptual Review of Vijaya, a Forgotten Ambrosia. And it's a very extensive paper, and it is published in the International Journal for Research in Ayurveda and Pharmaceutical and Pharmacy. And the first author is G. Shivaram, CCRS. I don't know where Shivaramji is now, but together with the team of Senior Research Fellow, Research Officer, and AD in charge, this is the paper. And I want to highlight the value of this paper. It's a very extensive paper, and it talks about many aspects of Vijaya. So, Shuruaat mein, in this one table, there are different synonyms in Indian language about Vijaya. And Bhang is used in the northern part. In the southern part, in Malayalam, it is called Kanchavu, or in Telugu, it is called Ganjai. So it's approximately Ganj. The synonyms in different Ayurvedic texts in Sarangadhara or Rastarangani, Bhava Prakash, and so on. It's a very extensive list of all the names that is given here. Acha, dusri synonyms we talked about briefly, and the different names, aur uski matlab kya hai, Sanskrit mein, the meaning of each of these terms, and the Ayurvedic pharmacological properties, rasaguna virya vipaka, the rasapanchaka aspects of Vijaya is given here. Uske baad, it gives the Ayurvedic pharmacological actions of Vijaya, samanya karma, prabhav, etc., very detailed. And this is the amount, or usme shodhana procedures that are used, and the kind of vikaras. It's atiseva of Vijaya, and that is described. So for me, this is an amazing paper that talks about all these details, important indications of Vijaya in Ayurveda. There are 50 indications given. Some formulations containing Vijaya in Ayurveda, they have given about 10 formulations here. Some vatis, some churnas, some modakas, and very, very fascinating review. And this shows, I'm very happy to, proud to point my finger to CCRAS. Acharya ji hai hamare saath, just to point to the fact that CCRAS does such wonderful work on documenting information. There will be many, many more papers like this, but shown here are the different ang of the plant, the leaves, the stem, the fruit, the seeds, and most importantly, the trichome. This is where a lot of the biochemical synthesis happens. You see, there are hair cells, these trichomes, and within the trichomes is where all the synthesis happens. About 120 different cannabinoids are known today, or maybe more. So out of this, when we look in the modern pharmacology area, this is what we find, the cannabinoids. And there, as I said, they're a part of about approximately 120 thereabouts different cannabinoids are there, and many are used effectively for so many different treatments. So it's a very, very important part. So the point raised today by by Pawanji and what Jahasab has just mentioned is that this knowledge needs to be appreciated even more. Ayurvedic insight that is gathered over thousands of years, and somehow we are not using this correctly. I'm very happy to see here Himalik herbs from Uttarakhand. Namaskar ji, Dehradun se. Namaskar ji. आपकी जो website चल नहीं रहा जी, but I am happy to see once again. I want to share थोड़ा सा website कि इस type का interaction is very important. कि Himalayan herbs are based in Rishikesh, in Dehradun. शायद हमारे साथ है रवि जी मंडोला जी, अगर हो नमस्कार जी. आपके जो your large number of products.
अपने साथ सर रवि नारायण आचार्य जी हैं.
अच्छा जी. So I want to just finish here by saying we want to welcome
Yes.
also the small players. These are small players who are in the area here with us, who are being excited by our activity. So we welcome even the small players into our platform. And of course, CCRAs is there, their leadership, their scholarship, the number of research institutions that are around India is already recognized, their work going on with the National Cancer Institute in America. Acharya ji and I, we've been in meetings together. So it is a wonderful forum for the big players that are doing government-to-government interaction, for the small people who have products. So we welcome everybody to this platform today, and we look forward to learning what we can do about this. Vijaya, and where we should go next in terms of modernizing the use of this herb, how it is cultivated, how it is grown in different parts of India, and what are the interactions that are going on with other institutions like the Indian Institutes of Science or the national institutes like the IITs. What is the interaction that's going on with the agriculture universities, and where we should go. We can't just be sitting in isolation with all this knowledge of Ayurvedic uses, and we must start to connect with across the discipline with with the Indian Chemical Technology Institute in Hyderabad. What are the kind of interactions that are going on? So let us hear about all those dimensions and look forward to hearing and learning from our presenters. We welcome all our presenters to the platform, and looking forward to this session. Pavanji, namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite my friend, Dr. Ravi Narayan Acharya, well known to me from last 3 decades. He is young. When he was young, energetic, dynamic. He just like 3 decades before, no less in energy, no less in dynamism, and no less knowledge is day by day growing. Excellent, Dr. Acharya ji. Excellent. Now we are proud to you that you have taken the lead seat of CCRAS. We are confident that under your leadership, CCRAS will definitely grow multidimensionally and very fast. So thank you, Dr. Ravi Narayan Acharya ji. And fortunately, when Madan sir was showing conceptual paper, sir, he is from Jamnagar and he has done a great work on cannabis, right from the conceptual to practical. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite today's keynote speaker, Dr. Ravi Narayan Acharya, Director General of CCRAS. Welcome, Dr. Ravi. Welcome.
Namaste, sir.
Pranam
Namaste,
ji.
sir. Am I audible?
हाँ जी,
Yes,
बिल्कुल.
clear.
Thank you.
Yeah. My regards to all my seniors, Dr. Madan ji, Dr. Vishnu ji, Dr. Kamini madam, Jha ji, and many others. All my and from my institute senior and the coordinator of this program, Pavan ji. My regards to you. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Though today I am at Lucknow, some official work, but I couldn't deny you, sir. But at the outset also, I give a disclaimer that whatever I am going, being a controversial drug as on today, whatever I am going to speak, I will speak as a Ravi Narayan Acharya, not the Director General of CCRAS, sir. So my experience with being an expert in Dravya Guna since last 30 years. And I have worked find out drugs. And when I joined Jamnagar in 2007 and started working on poisonous plants, I have made a plan that I will work on poisonous plants. Those are most effective drugs in Ayurveda and quick acting drugs, and find a scientific basis on their pharmacological action and what our Sodhana procedures try to validate the Sodhana procedures, what the role of Sodhana is having to reduce the phytoconstituents toxicity of the so-called phytoconstituents in the therapeutic administration dose. And in this series, I have worked upon, I've started work with Kuchila. I have a clinical study with even if I have processed bacha also, which is reported to be abandoned in America due to its beta on, or not only US, in other countries due to beta aceron content. But I have found a good result, a therapeutically good result after typically processing of Ayurveda. These are the non-poisonous plants, but Ayurveda recommends their Sodhana. But as regards the poisonous plants is concerned, Bhalataka, Baschanaba, I got tremendous result, and with different traditional ways. Another, we are lucky to have India's tradition that we few until now, sir, the research in poisonous plants can be in that way that we have a lot of traditional practices. Our Ayurveda Shastra recommends few Sodhana methods, but our ancestors, our traditional Vaidyas from Karnataka, what they do practice is much more scientific way what we found here. I will talk in that in different, but here I will concentrate on Bhanga. When the turn I found Bhanga to take this project, what I am saying, because to do research on Bhanga is very tedious, and due to this narcotic coming under the category of narcotic drugs, and that too in a state of dry state like Gujarat, it is very difficult to carry out research work and for clinical purposes also. And particularly the drug Bhanga, though when you we are permitted, yet there is no question that our present law does not allow us to do research on Bhanga. Those pharmacy having license on Bhanga, they can have a product, they can produce different product of Bhanga. And while finding out the literary study on Bhanga, what Professor Madan refer a paper, but I have extensively reviewed the Bhanga, not only Bhanga, all the poisonous plants. If anybody can search with my name in Bhanga, different poisonous plants, you can get near about 30 to 40 articles on the extensive review. And Bhanga, I observe, what we observe, one of my PhD project, it was there, that Bhanga is used in 137, it is used as a processing drug in 147 formulations, 157 formulations, and it is used as a traditional medicine in near about 30 to 40 countries used, and there are huge traditional uses either as a food or as a drug or as other purposes also. That paper is also published. What internationally the role of Bhanga, history starting from a history. When you consider the formulations as a classical uses, we found that the drug is used in near about 102 formulations contain Bhanga as a major ingredient. In our classical text, Bhanga is used in 102 formulations as a major ingredient and 91 formulations as a minor ingredient. And these formulations are indicated in 45 disease conditions. All the formulations of Bhanga are indicated in 45 disease conditions in 22 kalpanas. That it's indicate how Bhanga use, we can use process the different diversified formulations also Bhanga can be used. That shows that formulations that so much diversified, and also it is used in 18 different formulations as a pathya also. Bhanga is used as a pathya in 18 different type of pathyas are described for Bhanga. And we found, because I come from Odisha, and we found that in Puri and in our rural Bhanga is open to all. But we don't know why this has been put as a narcotic. This is no doubt as a Upavisha Dravya, it is Schedule E1 drug, but this has been come under narcotics, that is a separate issue. And this informations. When we compile, our compilation is also huge on 41 Rasa Granthas. We compiled 41 Rasa Granthas and 26 classical text, other classical text of Ayurveda. Because the Nigantu we exclude, but other classical text, what I mean that Chikitsa Granthas, there it is also widely used. As regards my experience with its clinical applications, we started studying this because Bhanga is mainly but that point of time for the pain management. We use the drugs with after Sodhana because so there are 3 methods of Sodhana recommended for Bhanga. One of the major recommended method by Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India is Jala Prakhyalana. That is just to wash the lips, press lips in water and let it dry and powder it and use it. And the indication is that you have to wash it till the green color. There is no green color in the water. So we, in that way, we found, and we do the study 250 milligram thrice a day for 24 days. And we give Anupana 50 ml of milk and 3 to 4 grams of sugar with that. With that only the drug is being administered there. So after this administration of the drug, we got very good result in not only in the management of pain, but also the pain, the general well-being of a post-chemotherapy patients, those who are having exposed cancer patient post-chemo. We started ethics committee also. We have to fight a lot for getting ethics approval also there and all these things. And as on today, for all your kind information, one project at a PhD at this university, Gujarat University, we couldn't found permission from a different company, government sector now also. So this is the thing that drug is effective in the treatment procedure. When in raw form, we are not giving any of the extract there, but recently, as a recent development, the Tata Cancer Research Institute is working on 2 projects on cannabis. They are using extract for cancer management, and we are in touch that we'll at CCRS will work on cannabis for future also in that aspect. So these are the things, and when we as regard the different phytoconstituents of cannabis, the effect of Shodhana, we found there is less effect, but that has been the concentration is reduced to a minor extent, not major that way. So this drugs, Bhanga, is have well potency, and as our sir told that it is indicated maximum in GI disorders, particularly the Grahani, Ajirna, Agnimandya, Sula also. So maximum in that, even if Jwara, Atisara, this the Bhanga is indicated maximum in the classical text of Ayurveda, and the drug, due to its narcotic being narcotic inclusion in the narcotic category, it's quite difficult for the pharma people, those who are not having license, and to get the information on Bhanga, particularly the narcotic commissioner. They used to visit our pharmacy, Jamnagar, Gujarat, because at the government pharmacy, so everything was open to them, and they used to visit our pharmacy frequently, and day to day, even milligram to milligram, we have to report for the whatever research, whatever that is another drawback for doing research on research difficulties what we have faced. So collectively, as Jha Sahab told that the government has to, this is a policy decision. We can't do anything. Only the government will take some decision, and government then only the drug will. But this drug has a great potency, and it should be used. It should be, and our tradition, particularly in Puri, the Madananda Modaka and other things, people are our Vaidya and those are classical preparing classical medicine. They do prescribe in a very effective way and large scale also. But nowadays, due to more stringent rules, the drug is very difficult to do practice with the drugs. With this remarks only, now I request Pawanji to have a discussion. We'll have a discussion later, rather sharing my experience, all these things.
Acharya ji, thank you very much. Bahut dhanyawad ji. You have elaborated. We are very fortunate to have you here with us to be part of this activity. As Pawan ji says, your publications are very rich in this area. And maybe Pawan ji wants to comment before I just comment a little more. Pawan ji, namaskar.
Yes, sir. Really, he has done extensive work on all poisonous plants. It is a great information also, and a really matter of salute also that nobody had touched this particular portion of the Ayurveda. And I am really grateful because right from Indore, when I prepared brush drug with Asta Sanskarit Parad, my Guruji Harishankar Sharma ji instructed me to take bhang from Indore, and we made one variety like Madananand Modak at that time in 1988. So really now refreshed everything. And before question and answer and panel discussion, I would like to request Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Pandey ji. So you finish yourself, Madan sir.
Haan ji.
Then we will
Pawan ji,
invite Dr. Kuldeep Pandey.
Thank you, Pawan ji. Ye jo
Thank
show
you,
that-
thank you, Acharya sir. Thank you.
Acharya ji, thank you very much. We feel blessed that you are here with us, and your expertise in that area is very important. Isme ek cheez, I just want to share the screen because there are many people who are viewing online or Shodhana procedures. And on the left here are all the poisonous plants, jo Acharya ji ne jo bataya, Vatnab, etc., Guglu, Banga is here. And yahan pe the method of Shodhana, this is something that is very, very special and unique to our Indian systems of medicine. Ho sakta there is something similar in Siddha medicine also, Shodhana procedure. Ho sakta ki there is something very similar in Tibetan systems of medicines also. But these methods are very important. Some Vatsanab, boiling for 3 hours in goat's milk, for instance. It's a very important, very, very specialized activities. And somehow I feel, Acharya ji, ki the discussion that must happen between Ayurveda, Ayush systems, and the modern medicine people has not matured enough. We have senior professors here, C. Vijaya Saab hai. We will also hear about this point about Shodhana, which is also used, Shodhana Marna, that is also used in our metals and minerals also purification. It's an area where we need a global level research understanding. And India should provide the leadership in this area. Instead of being pushed down and saying that these are poisonous plants that cannot be used in treatment, I think we should now turn around and take that leadership opportunity, particularly in areas of toxic plants, how they can be converted into beneficial effects. This is a scholarship that is there in India for thousands of years, and we have mastered that skill, and we should remain masters in that space. Perhaps CCRAS, perhaps there can be more dialogue between Department of Biotechnology, there can be more interactions between CSIR, and Acharya ji is the best, is positioned in the best office right now to make this happen. So Acharya ji, we are all following
for your kind information, today I am at Lucknow. Yesterday, I had a long discussion, whole day discussion with the teams of CSIR, NBRI, Lucknow, National Botanical Research Institute, director and all the scientists. And because basing upon my experience, I am going to start the Shodhana, particularly the poisonous plants one by one, what mechanistic of action, and it's with their biotechnology people, with their pharmacological, a team was there, it has been constituted, and we are working. We are planning to work on that. And previously also, when Professor Dhiman was there, we have started out the Pune unit regarding Shodhana procedure also here. But we are going to work on, because these are the drugs which gives a name and fame to the Vaidyas. These are the drugs, quick acting drugs, which gives name and fame to Vaidya. And day by day, we are ignoring in the name of scheduled E1 drugs. In that way, it is going out of the reach of the Vaidya with a fear. Even if take the example of Langali, such a huge, such a good quality drug, sir, it's having, as it is put under Upavisha, so nobody is using. And I have seen in the family by Vaidya of Kalahandi district of Odisha, which using in, I can say in kg to the patient of arthritis, to the patient of arthritis in particular. So this type of thing are there, but due to its inclusion in poisonous plants group, so with the physicians are somewhat not coming forward to use these drugs. So, Sir, as you wish, Sir, is in the way, sir, as per your view and your suggestions, we are already on the pipe in that way, sir, for with modern scientist people to give it a proper justifications, what the effect of Shodhana and how our main purpose is how the drugs acts after Shodhana and all that things.
Right. आचार्य जी, हमारी तरफ से एक और निवेदन कि इसको थोड़ा, can we make it an international network and a national network? So national network you're also doing, but make it a slightly international network. So we will discuss with Jasab, who will have some points on this, or थोड़ा सा international बनाएंगे जिससे people understand that the richness in our Indian systems, of how we have mastered the skill of purifying what are traditionally called poisonous drugs and their therapeutics and the mode of action.
So can I add in this? Hello.
हाँ जी, प्रणाम जी.
Regarding this
सेशन रख सकते हैं सर.
Hello.
साहब, आपका आवाज कट रहा है. I think Pavan ji is saying discussion में ले आए जी सारा कुछ.
मैं ये कह रहा हूँ. Hello.
हाँ जी.
Am I audible?
You are audible जी.
Yeah. तो मैं ये कह रहा था कि one example of Dr. Katiyar, he worked on Kuchila, Strychnus nux vomica, and what he was reported. So many Shodhan process mentioned in our classical text. And, he tried to purify the Kuchila in different method, and what he found, as he reported, that the Shodhan done in the cow's milk was good, particularly the main property of Strychnus nux vomica, which is convulsant, converted into anticonvulsant. And so various Shodhan process is there. Each and every is needed to examine what are the spatial effect obtained by the material that is needed to explore.
Jasab, we will take, I think Pavan ji is saying we will take this in the discussion
after a speaker discussion, because flow is
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Pavan ji.
So now I would like to request Professor Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Pandey ji from BHU, Department of Sangya Haran, very unique department in BHU. Welcome, welcome Dr. KK Pandey ji, welcome.
Good evening to all of you, sir. Madan ji, Pavan ji, and previous speaker, Dr. Ravi Krishna Acharya ji. I'm fortunate enough to have with us Dr. Ravi Acharya ji, because most of the discussions will be with him. And prior to discuss about the topic, cannabis, the unique drug. तो सबसे पहले मैं भांग के देवता बाबा विश्वनाथ को प्रणाम करता हूँ कि बाबा जी को भांग का देवता क्यों कहा गया है.
जय हो, जय हो.
हिस्टोरिकल रेफरेंस जब मैंने ढूंढा तो पता लगा कि जब समुद्र मंथन हुआ तो हलाहल विष निकला और वो इसमें इतनी विषाक्तता थी कि पूरी ज्वाला फैल गई भगवान शिव को, और उसको शांत करने के लिए उनको भंगा का अभिषेक किया गया, पान कराया गया. मिथ्स कुछ भी हो, बिलीव आर नॉट, रिगार्डिंग द समुद्र मंथन एंड दिस वन. ये वैसे ही है सर, जैसे गणेश जी की वंदना करते हैं हम तो बोलते हैं कि मोदक प्रिय है और उनको कपित और जम्बू खिलाइए। तो कपूत और जम्बू में दोनों में एंटी डायबिटिक प्रॉपर्टीज है। आज साइंटिस्ट इसको मानना शुरू कर दिए हैं। वैसे ही जितने भी टॉक्सिन्स हैं, हाईएस्ट टॉक्सिन्स, जो कि टच होने पे तुरंत ही विद इन नो टाइम वो प्राणहार हो जाते हैं, वैसे ही भंगा में इतनी सारी प्रॉपर्टीज एक हमें सिग्नल देता है। और उस सिग्नल्स पे काम करते हुए जब मैं अपने कई एक रेफरेंसेस को देखा तो मुझे ये मिला कि इवन अभी लेटेस्ट आज भी मैं पढ़ रहा था कि लोगों ने कहीं क्लेम किया है कि ये कोविड के वायरस पे भी काम करता है। अब कोविड जैसी पैंडेमिक वेक्टर उस पे काम कर रहा है जो कि कितने प्राण हर चुका। वैसे ही कैंसर के डिफरेंट स्टेजेस पे, डिफरेंट इन्फ्लामेटरी हो, हेपेटोसिस हो या उसके मेटास्टेटिक नेचर हो, डिफरेंट स्टेजेस पे वो काम कर रहा है। कॉन्सेप्ट इसके जो है सिर्फ वही है कि टॉक्सिन्स को ये मार रहा है। नाउ कमिंग टू द पॉइंट, how and why it has been recognized as a unique drug. यूनिक ऐसे नहीं बनता कोई चीज। जो नॉमेनक्लेचर फोरम ने दिया है बहुत ही जेन्युइन है। Being a person of anesthesia, I have found a reference of primitive anesthesia technique. उसमें 4-5 हर्ब्स के साथ में मार्जुआना एक हर्ब थी, उसको बॉयल किया और स्पंज को उसमें डीप किया, डीप करने के बाद ड्राई किया, ड्राई करने के बाद पेशेंट के नॉस्ट्रिल्स पे रख के इनहेल कराया और भी पेशेंट एनेस्थेटाइज हो गया, सर्जरी हुआ। Later on that very inhalational anesthesia, two concepts developed. One was volatile anesthetic agents, the primitive chloroform, then trichloroethylene, then anesthetic ether, then isoflurane, sevoflurane, and so many. Second branch was developed aromatherapy from inhalational anesthesia. This very concept indicates us that it is very unique in this regard. As Dr. Acharya said, it has been mentioned in many formulations, and there are so many purification methods. My humble submission to Acharya sir, unlike this one, indications are neurological disorders, post-traumatic spasm, muscle spasm, seizures, schizophrenia, depressions, loss of GI system, urogenital system, many more systems. If we find that each and every system of the body physiological functioning, any alteration can be cured by this unique drug with the different formulations, considering its properties and the other ingredients which are going to be added there. In many more states, it has been considered as a narcotic drug, but leaves and the stems are permitted to the research scholars and the pharmaceuticals. But when I wanted to start a research on the cannabis in the field of anesthesia, a Sangyaran, many queries were raised by the ethical committee, and that was turned down. And the project was with the department, help of the Department of ITBHU Pharmaceutics. The concept was the morphine receptors and its role of cannabis alkaloids for the pain management under anesthesia or in a pain patients in a pain OPD. Later on, I started this one to prescribe my patients, those who were suffering with the cancer pains. Because after morphine is not available to each and every patient, and that cannot be affordable by either reasons. But few of the patients, they said that no any analgesic synthetic compound is effective for the treatment of pain that is very incurable in later stage when the metastasis is there. Then I simply said, if you get bhanga from anywhere, then give a small, very small dose like a seed of pea and add it one with the other prescribed medicines or the decoction which I use to prescribe them. You will surprised to know that excellent pain relief was there, appetite was increased, and the complaint of insomnia was reduced. So the indications mentioned in our text, it is a good appetizer on the hepatobiliary system. It removes the, alleviates the pain of the neurological upsets and the muscle spasms. And sometimes it creates a euphoric effect. So there is a feeling of some pleasantness. The question arises that how you are going to use this one and how you are going to conduct a research project on this very unique drug. There are many more hurdles. When we use this one in our routine practice, how we have to purify the drug before administration to a patient whose most of the body systems are deteriorated. In a healthy individual, you can take a dose, there will be least side effects. But a patient who is suffering with the cancer-like disease or the palliative disorders, because this drug was initially introduced in palliative care in 1975 by the Irish and French scientists for the pain management. Later on, many of the people, they started to think about the glory of this drug. They wanted to cast this drug in the field of cancer management. I have gone, Professor Jha sir, have given me an article that a lady is suffering from the cervical cancer, and she took herself, extracted the cannabinoids or the many alkaloids inside the crude cannabis, and she herself was cured, and later on she worked hard. I have an article there, but fortunately it is not with us, with me right now, because immediately I came from the counseling for the PhD admission, and just I have joined this meeting. Otherwise, I had shown you the article, but I will provide it to forum. So this anti-cancer properties, in the previous webinars, we have discussed about the morphine. And then I requested to forum that during procedures of purification, it has been mentioned in the text of Ayurveda, each and every step of the procedure of the purification, the crude iphane must be analyzed as an intermediate compound whatsoever it had been achieved. Then what are the residual extracted poisonous are the substances which are harmful, because elimination of those harmful contents was the aim of the purification. So each and every time this purification and the intermediate compound yield must be analyzed. This is my humble submission to the Acharya sir. And likewise, the cannabis or bhanga, the leaves of bhanga just throwing on in water and removing its green color. Why removing the green color? Is that contains majority of the toxic substances? And after that, what is the nature of the intermediate compound and in a cannabis? So that must be studied, and if it is then analyzed as the phytoproducts or the phytocontents, as its phenols, its other ingredients, alkaloids, and then a unique study can be done with the collaboration of the multi-centric cancer pain management trials, or the even it has been mentioned the rheumatoid arthritis. A miracle drug must be maybe for the unique treatment of the rheumatoid arthritis, because the application of many more drugs leads the other complications of the rheumatic heart disease, or the other patients they are suffering with the rheumatoid factor. So the indications are many more, but our approach must be in a very scientific direction after the purification of these toxic substances. Acharya sir has worked on many toxic substances as toxic phytoproducts. Definitely, they can be used for such disorders, but after purification like cannabis. So cannabis is itself a gold. मैंने पहले भी बोला था कि इसको लोग बोलते हैं कि भारत सोने की चिड़िया था. Then a the unique products, unique natural substances, unique herbs that can be utilized in the field of medical armamentarium. The other thing, if I want to work on this very subject in the field of pain management, how can I be permitted to conduct the research works on the cannabis in my clinical practice? In Kashi, I found many government authorized licensed shops are there, and cannabis paste in a form of tablet or goli is being sold here. Patients are euphoric. But one thing, when I was surfing the literature or the articles, I found that if it works as a COVID pandemic, then a survey must be there that are routine users of the cannabis. What is the incidence of COVID sufferings? Because in Kashi, I will definitely ask the shopkeepers, those where the thandai and the cannabis are being sold there, I will go to them and then found that they try to find that the daily users where they coming to get the thandai or bhanga, where they sufferers of the cannabis and this COVID, if not, or if, then what was the percentage of those sufferers? So that can be justified up to some extent. But regarding the purification, that as Professor Jha sir said, that purification is very much required before using these toxic substances, but indications are many more. Without purification, it is definitely will harm, because there is no any study. A person who is taking that much of impure or impurified cannabis in a natural form, what are the other sufferings with the patient? There is no data. So we can't say that it will not create any problem to the patients or to the consumers, but there must be a data documentation or a survey report. And after purification, what are the intermediate compounds and what are the toxic substances spare out? And that must be, and then only these 140 products of the yogas or the compounds of the cannabis ingredient can be prepared. And I will be fortunate enough if government authorities, especially CCIRS, allow me to work on this IFAN and the bhanga in practice of Sangyaharan, then I may use this one as a sponge paper, as the volatile, or as any other form before the anesthetic management, or to induce induction of the anesthesia to the patients. And then after experimental model, we can design a protocol, and that can be. So this was my submission to the forum. And thanks to the organizers providing me the
Excellent.
opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Excellent, Pandit.
Ram-
Excellent.
Ram-
I am really surprised why not within these 75 years of this independence to India, why we have not think scientifically more what was required or desired by the scientific community abroad also. Everywhere researches have been conducted. It may be Vijaya, it may be Hemp, but we are using Mahavish, Vatsanav, very easily. That may be schedule even, but that is being used in antipyretic drugs a lot. Means physician is also not aware in which medicine Vatsanav is there or not. Why we are fearing with this cannabis or
Sir,
iphone, which are being
शर्मा सर,
right?
कैन आई
जी,
कम
जी।
इन? हाँ शर्मा
Yes.
सर, आपकी जो बात है we respect that, but the only thing is that all that schedule EU and the difference between the schedule E1 drugs and bhanga and ahifena is that bhanga and ahifena has been included in narcotic. So here we have to take permission from narcotic department. And it is not that they are not permitting. They are permitting. Recently, we are in AIMS Delhi. We are AIMS दिल्ली के साथ हमारा भी रिसर्च कैंसर पे चल रहा है. हमने भी कंपनी ढूंढ लिया जिनने हमको सप्लाई भी कर रहे हैं. करने it is up to us how we will go for research. Once we found the research, then only we can pressurize the government. Yes, we have the scientific data with us, and these are the effectiveness allow us. अदरवाइज ऐसे सामने से बोलने से भी इतना नहीं होगा. जो पांडे सर बोले, हमको परमिशन, जैसे मेरे को गुजरात जैसा ड्राई स्टेट में भी परमिशन मिल गया. गुजरात जैसे मैंने 3 स्टेट से नार्कोटिक का परमिशन लिया था सर. उत्तराखंड से कलेक्शन के लिए लिया, फिर गुजरात जैसा ड्राई स्टेट से भी परमिशन मिला. बट बहुत बार जाना पड़ा, 20 से 30 बार कम से कम उनके ऑफिस से जाके. और बहुत हमको तीनों एथिक्स कमेटी से परमिशन मिला, एक नहीं. हमको जामनगर का एथिक्स कमेटी, सीसीआरएस का एथिक्स कमेटी और टाटा का एथिक्स कमेटी, सीसीआरएस बॉम्बे और टाटा, तीनों का भी एथिक्स कमेटी ने परमिशन दिया. वी हैव टू कन्विंस देम. बट नाउ कई जगह जैसे ड्रग लाइसेंस है कि हर मिलीग्राम का तो लोग मांगते हैं हिसाब. we separate them, we provide them the information. So in this way research is possible, but एक intensive effort चाहिए उसमें सर. That's my view sir.
आचार्य सर, एक सवाल बस 1 मिनट पूछूंगा, उसके बाद मैं हट जाऊंगा फोरम से. आचार्य सर, कैन यू हियर मी?
यस.
हाँ, मेरा ये था कि अभी मॉर्फिन पे बहुत सारा टैबलेट बना के, इंजेक्शन बना के कैंसर पेशेंट को देने का है. तो अगर हमारे मॉर्फिन तो मैं नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं बोलूंगा आइफेन को प्यूरिफाई करते समय हम इंटरमीडिएट कंपाउंड को एनालाइज करें, और जब फाइनल उसका प्यूरिफिकेशन हो जाए तब एनालाइज करें, और फिर देखें कि जो हमारा क्रूड था और फाइनल शेप में जो यील्ड है उसमें कितना डिफरेंसेस है. तो क्या
हमारे जो उसके भी में ऑल द पॉइजनस ड्रग्स एक्सेप्ट अहिफेना मैं नहीं कर पाया, अदरक सोरस उसका भावना, क्योंकि मेरे को ग्वालियर से परमिशन नहीं मिला. मेरे को नार्कोटिक में अहिफेन के लिए और थोड़ा स्ट्रिंजेंट एक्शन है, रूल है. तो वो सर मान जाते हैं, अहिफेन के लिए मानते ही नहीं वो लोग सर.
सर मैं अगर सीसीआरएस को एक प्रोजेक्ट भेजूं और उसमें इस पे प्रोसेस करूं कि कैंसर पेशेंट को जो मॉर्फिन टैबलेट और इंजेक्शन की प्रॉब्लम होती है, जो साइड इफेक्ट होते हैं, जो हमारी
Sir, CCRS cannot give guarantee for drug collection and drug procurement.
Let me finish, sir. तो जो मेरा ये है कि आप गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटीज है, तो आप ये बताइए, ऐसा भी प्रोजेक्ट आप बना सकते हो कि मॉर्फिन आइफेन को हम प्यूरिफाई करने के बाद जो उनका डोज रिकमेंडेड है, जिस फॉर्मुलेशन में उनके हमारे बताए गए हैं आचार्यों ने, उसको अगर हम दे तो कैंसर पेशेंट को मॉर्फिन इंजेक्शन टैबलेट की आदत और महंगाई और ये उनकी जो क्यू है, नॉन अवेलेबिलिटी है, ये सारा दूर हो जाएगा, और हमारी कंट्री का बहुत सारा रेवेन्यू हम अपने पास रख सकते हैं, और कंट्री के पीपल को हम अपना आइफेन का प्रोडक्ट छोटा सा देके उनको दे सकते हैं. मेरा हम्बल सबमिशन अथॉरिटीज से ये है सर. मैं इसलिए
नहीं सर, आपकी बात सही है सर, बट वी आर डिपेंडेंट अपन नार्कोटिक डिपार्टमेंट, एक्साइज डिपार्टमेंट पे परमिशन के लिए। आयुष
ठीक है
कैन
सर,
नॉट गिव यू
परमिशन
परमिशन। उनका जो
के लिए
एग्जिस्टिंग लॉ के हिसाब से हर स्टेट का परमिशन मिलता है सर। इवन इफ जय जगह रेडिली अवेलेबल है, फिर भी ड्रग के लिए वो लोग नहीं दे रहे लाइसेंस। उसमें कंपनी का लाइसेंस अलग से लेना पड़ता है, जो कई कंपनियां दे रहे हैं। हमने अभी CCRS के लिए भी अप्रूव करवाया। क्या नाम, दिल्ली के साथ, एम्स दिल्ली के साथ कर रहे हैं कैंसर पे उसके काम, टाटा के साथ भी कर रहे हैं, एम्स के साथ भी कर रहे हैं।
नहीं तो मेरा जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, मैं इस कॉन्सेप्ट
जी,
पे
जी।
आपका सपोर्ट चाहता हूँ, कॉन्सेप्ट पे
जी
चाहता
जी
हूँ।
जी, हम लोग विषयांतर
Okay,
कर देते हैं, इसीलिए मैं
Thank-
डिस्कशन को डिस्करेज करता हूँ इन बिटवीन द स्पीकर्स। मैं आशा करता हूं कि थोड़ी देर और रुकेंगे आचार्य जी, केवल 2 स्पीकर बाकी हैं, 3। डेफिनेटली कुलदीप जी की चिंता बिल्कुल जायज है और आचार्य जी भी उससे वाकिफ हैं। मैं आशा करता हूं कि ऐसे किसी न किसी प्रोजेक्ट में परमिशन भी दी जाएगी और प्रोक्योरमेंट में बिल्कुल, पांडे जी यूपी में है तो वहां से प्रोक्योरमेंट भी लीगली हो जाएगा, मैं आशा करता हूं। और मैं वही मेरा आश्चर्य है कि जो आदमी केवल एक भांग के ठेके से 30 रुपए की गोली लेके खा सकता है भांग की, वो आदमी किसी आयुर्वेद डॉक्टर के पास जाके और कोई भी भांग की दवा नहीं ले पाता। ये मेरा दुख है, जो धीरे धीरे शायद मिट जाएगा। So now, without wasting much time, I would like to request Dr. P. Mallikarjun Rao. P. Mallikarjun Rao, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Welcome, Dr. P. Mallikarjun Rao. Welcome. You can share the screen if you want.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm trying. Namaste all. Am I audible, sir?
We can hear you clearly.
Yes, yes. I am sharing.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Most respected and stalwarts of Ayurveda, Professor Dr. Raghunaran Acharya sir, Professor Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Pandey sir, Professor Piyush Juneja sir, and Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji, Madan Tangavel sir, and Vineet Agnihotri sir, Dr. Madhu Sharma ma'am, and especially Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharma sir for hosting this webinar, and they are all delegates. Namaste all. And today I am very happy to in front of you talking about today's given topic, Vijaya, the hemp, and I will try to give you a brief introduction about this drug. I don't think this is not known to you. This is well known to you, but I will just brief the drug review about Vijaya. There are 2 botanical sources about bhang, Cannabis sativa and Cannabis indica. These 2 are very common found in India. This is weed. This grows as a weed in Indian atmosphere, and this belongs to Cannabinaceae family. If we see about bhang, cannabis, Sayana, the commentator of Vedic literature, who says about there are 5 herbs which are known as Pancharajani Virudam: Darbha, Bhango, Yava, Ashwatha, Somasreshtinaha, Pancharajani Virudam. There are 5 king of all herbs. Among them, bhang is one of the drug mentioned by Sayana, who is commentator of Vedic literature, by which we can come to know about this usage of bhang. Since Vedic period, it is there in Materia Medica. And if we see in bishops who use anointing oil in various churches, which is made out of bhang, bhang is the principal ingredient in the anointing oil, which they use in various churches. And there is a special book by name Sacred Bliss, which is written by Professor Ferreira. You can have the PDF of this book if we go through in Google. This is a very small booklet. This can be downloaded and you can easily go through this. And after going through this book, this is a special book about the cannabis. And it's if you see this book, it have a another tag for the title, Spiritual History of Cannabis. So this book is especially for cannabis history, and this book demonstrates about the usage of cannabis to increase imagination, creativity, heightened positive thinking, insight, and deeper level of thinking. And this is the book which is very helpful for treating physical and psychological illnesses simultaneously, and it is possible. It says this is the book, The Spiritual History of Cannabis, and Professor Kuldeep Kumar Pandey sir is rightly said about the history of cannabis. Lord Shivaji, after having halahalam during the Samudram Kshirosagar Madanam.
Rao Saab, I'm just going to interrupt you a little bit. It looks like there is a lot of background noise coming from your side. Is there some way to close the door or window or something there?
Yes, sir. I will try, sir.
Oh, if it is, I think it's coming externally from a window or a door somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sir. I close it, sir. I close it now, sir.
Thank you, because you are sharing so many wonderful things. If it can be.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. There are many wonderful things. That's why I will try to share about all these things, whatever I thought to share. And you can see this picture. It is very popular picture about how the Shivji is having bhang by using an instrument, Dhumapana Yantram. This is to counter the halahalam what Shivji have been drunken during the Kshirosagar Madanam. It means that it can counter that much strong poison. So it is antidote for hala. And very interestingly, I could meet a community by name Bodhar.
Rauji, I interrupt again. Very noisy background. Is there some way to close the door or window, or very distracting?
It is very near to
road, I hope.
Yeah, you are somewhere very near a busy road, so it's a bit distracting to hear. Thank you.
That is very am I audible, sir, clearly?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes. A community by name Podar and Paragdar, who is residents of various villages at northeast countries. When I went in 2013, Itanagar and Assam, a few villages I have visited. This community people are specialized folk physicians who use cannabis just for whatever the case they come across. They use only cannabis for any diseases. So I can say that this community is specialist in using cannabis by changing various anupanas and treating in folk way. And this is very well known statement that during the Shivaratri ritual at Nepal, Pashupatinath temple surroundings, Naga sadhus and saints, they used to have bhang. It is permitted by government and also. So this is about with a brief introduction about cannabis, and let me introduce you about the cannabis morphology. It's a resinous annual herb. It's a very common growing in our Indian atmosphere, and that's why it is known weed. There are its leaves, very compound leaves. There are 7 to 9 leaflets almost. in most of leaves. And the flowers, there are male and female flowers will be found in different plants. Male flowers are drooping panicles and female flowers are axillary spikes. It is a native plant of steppes, which is very Central Asia, native of Central Asia, and it is cultivated in many countries: Spain, Canada, Israel, Finland, and other countries also. It is permitted as well. Usage of cannabis is also permitted from their constitution. And in India, this grows as weed, as I said, and very popularly near Orissa and Andhra border, Vizag near. There is a particular variety called Sheetalavati variety, where the cannabis resin comes in a greater quantity. So this variety is common cultivated in this border, and it is most of the times transported from Andhra border to Orissa. And in North India also it grows very well. And it is its propagation is also very easy. Just by stem cuttings, we can propagate even the seeds. Even the micro propagation is also possible with the sprouts of seeds. And seeds are very common used by poultries, especially. It is said to be, if the hen have the seed of cannabis, it increases the frequency of egg laying. So it's very common mixed in feed in poultry. So this is how the inflorescence, and we can see the inflorescence. There are single cell trichomes. Single cell are there will be two or three cells, very few cells in the trichomes, where the resin comes out of the plant, and which is very concentrated form. That's why the dosage for the charas is very less. It is a very interesting way, the collection of charas, if we see, it is usually done by personally. Labor labor is involved here. Every one must go to the inflorescence, and it should one should touch the flower total inflorescence. While we touch the inflorescence, there will be resiniferous cells. That I mean, the trichomes will emit the resin, and it adheres to our palms. You can see the picture here. So after getting adhere this resin to our palms, it will be scraped by a sharp instrument, and it is rolled into round pills. This is called charas. So this is usually transported, and it is a very precious one. It's very costly thing. And where the secondary metabolites are very rich in this particular useful part of the plant. And there are four various presentations of this plant is available in market. One is hashish, which is just collected trichomes from the inflorescence, and charas, just know the way of how to procure the charas, just explain. And the just inflorescence, the powder of inflorescence is titled as ganja, and the powder of leaves is called bhang. This way, four types of presentations you can see. I mean, the cryogenous from the plant. And if you see the pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics of this drug, cannabis is known for its antispasmodic. It is an anesthetic drug, and there is in Chinese herbal medicine, this drug is used for anesthetic drug, and as well in least it is used to kill intestinal worms. It is analgesic. It's a mood elevator. That's why in most of the psychiatry it is used, and it acts against stress and anxiety. It is known appetizer. It is anti-inflammatory, antibiotic, antimicrobial, and it is immunomodulator. It is mild diuretic. It is anti-emetic. That's why during the chemotherapy, it is used as add-on therapy with the chemo recipes, and this anti-epileptic. It is used the oil which is prepared from the cannabis. It is known it's a very versatile remedy for epilepsy. Just 2 drops of CBD oil, cannabis oil, is just dropped in sublingually, and patient will be free out of the convulsions. This is a very common practice in folk medicine. It's known antidiarrheal, anti-epileptic, ulcer healing, and it gives symptomatic relief from idiopathic tremors, multiple sclerosis, glaucoma, Parkinsonism, and migraine headaches like pulsating headaches. And out of all these qualities, it's a very good aphrodisiac in nature. And other than medical uses, there are, if we go through the Sacred Bliss, the book says about the, other than medical, the cannabis is used. There are many uses have been mentioned in this book, but I could compile very few, which are very common practiced. The seed oil is used to prepare various deodorants and personal cosmetic products, and it is very good annual feed. That's why just now I told you about. It is given to hens, which increases the frequency of egg laying, and it is also used in various alcoholic beverages, beer and alcoholic beverages, which increases bioavailability of alcohol as well, cannabis both. And the hemp fibers is used as which have the brisk fibers, which is used in textile industry as well, ropes making, and the bio wastages of the plant. All the vegetative plants, vegetative parts of the plant is used to prepare a quality manure, which stimulates the growth of seed. And this is what the non-medical usages of cannabis. And now I'm here to explain you about intoxication symptoms, signs and symptoms of intoxication of cannabis. And it's very interesting to see this particular topic, this particular part of cannabis. Intoxication will happen in 2 stages. One is the stage 1, which is excitement, stage of excitement, and stage 2 is stage of narcosis, where the narcosis patient develop narcosis. And the symptoms, this is again very interesting. The symptoms, what all are explained in acute toxicity and chronic toxicity, will also be same. I mean, whatever the symptoms explained in the stage of excitement can also be seen in acute toxicity of cannabis. Similarly, in chronic toxicity, whatever the symptoms we see at the stage of narcosis will be the same. And the other interesting thing is, if we see the symptoms, it will be quite opposite. Let me explain you about when in acute toxicity, there will be the special senses will be very sensible and
apologies again, a lot of background noise from your microphone from your side. If there is some way to control that, it will be good, because
yes, sir, I have tried my level best to control.
Thank you. Please continue.
No problem.
Apologies.
Kindly continue.
Apologies.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The special senses will work very sensibly in the acute toxicity, and in the chronic toxicity, if we see, the special senses will lose their sensitivity. And very initially, there will be laugh, patient will laugh, the person will laugh and will be talkative. And when we see the chronic toxicity symptoms, he will be mum and silent. He will feel silent and dead. And very initially, the acute toxicity increases appetite, and later appetite, there will be loss of appetite. And in acute toxicity, there will be increased desire to sex, and where in chronic toxicity, there will be loss of libido or impotency. And it is very initially in acute toxicity, CNS is stimulated, central nervous system is stimulated, where in chronic toxicity it is repressed. The another thing is, interesting thing is, in acute toxicity, patient will be very violent, he will act very violent, and it is homicide, it gives homicidal tendency. Whereas in chronic toxicity, it will be it develops the suicidal tendency. And anyhow, in acute toxicity, there will be deep sleep, and in chronic toxicity, the patient will suffer from sleeplessness. So there are two broad angles in this cannabis poisoning. So this is what I could observe with the symptoms of acute toxicity and chronic toxicity as well, at the stage of excitement and the stage of narcosis. So with all this, I could recollect a comparison which is said by Acharya Charaka, 3D dravyani natyupayunjita, like the three drugs must not be used for long duration, like pipali, lavanam, and ksharam, like how in Charaka Vimanasthanam, how he says, initially a drug which is kaphoklesham in nature, and later the drug will rise up the mucus layers. So in this way, there are two unique natures have been exhibited by a drug. Such drugs must not be used for a long duration. This is also a same type of drug. That's why, with the conclusion that this drug must not be used for a long duration. In that way, this is a very unique drug, and I could compile few various Ekamulika Prayogas with cannabis from Nigantu, Adarsh Nigantu. These are various Samipu Prayogas in the text. Let me brief about in scalp infection, tinea infection, tinea totalis, and alopecia areata, or fungal dandruff to the scalp. Just leaf juice is applied. The scrotal scabies, also leaf juice is applied externally. And in fungal infections of ear, juice is used as ear drops. And in diarrhea of tapeworm infection, leaf powder, add little twak and yela given internally. In burning micturition and urinary tract infection, leaf juice or powder of cannabis is given internally with lime water. And venous ulcers, even in the chancroid, syphilitic chancroid, non-healing ulcers also, cannabis powder can be used as dusting powder very initially. Once it gets dry, just ghee application can be done after the oozing comes down from the non-healing ulcers. As I said, in epilepsy, Chinese herbal medicine have been identifying that cannabis oil, CBD oil, is a versatile remedy for epilepsy. It comes as capsules, oil gelatinous capsules. Just punch the capsule and two drops sublingually given during the epilepsy spells, when patient is getting convulsions. Within the seconds, patient will be free from convulsions. And in the bleeding piles also, there are many remedies that have been explained for bleeding piles with cannabis. The fresh leaf paste is made with milk, is given internally as well, external application on the pile mass. And in glaucoma, this is very known folk line that the leaf paste is applied on the eyes, which relieves the symptoms by reducing the intraocular pressure. And in IBS, leaf, cannabis leaves and maricha given internally with the buttermilk, or Jati Phala Churnam is one of the famous Vishishta Yogam mentioned with bhang, cannabis. And for chronic stomach pain and spasmodic pain during the menstrual cycle, leaf washed water can be given internally, which is one of the procedure for Shodhanam. For Shodhanam purpose, the leaves are washed. So that water is given internally to counter the spasmodic pain during the menstrual cycle. And leaves and hing mixed recipe is also can be given to counter the spasmodic pain. as well chronic stomach pains. And there is Madananda Modakam recipe, which is very specially mentioned for loss of libido, where this is very known recipe. This can be given even a drinkable form. This is the recipe where cannabis leaves are prime ingredient in this. Maricha, yela, rose petals, aipena seeds, badam, jati phala, clove, all are taken in equal quantities. It is mixed with milk and sugar. It can be given internally or it can be given as avalation form. And in most of the migraine headaches or pulsating headaches, ganja plus tobacco mixed powder is given as smoke, or this ganja and ganja powder can be given as snuff, nasyam. So in acute poisoning, when it is taken lethal dose, more than higher dose, more than therapeutic dose, it causes acute poisoning symptoms. During this poisoning, this is the treatment plan. Stomach wash is first line of treatment for poisoning, and usually stomach wash is done with potassium permanganate solution or normal saline, and it is after that the strychnine hydrochloride is given subcutaneously as injection, and after that the symptomatic treatment is followed. So this is for acute poisoning of cannabis, whereas subcutaneous poisoning or inhalation poisoning can be easily countered by just cool water head bath for the patient, which reduces most of the acute effects of cannabis. And here is which where I could see with the Podar and Parakdar community at Itanagar, who says about the antidote for cannabis higher dose. Onion juice can be given internally to counter the excess poisoning symptoms of cannabis. Tamarind juice can be given as antidote, and guava leaf juice can also be a very good antidote for cannabis poisoning. And here is another known antidote for most of the poisons. Take one kupilu seed and it is burned over the candle till it turns charcoal, till it turns black. So this charcoal is given internally to counter most of the poisons, including cannabis symptoms also. And here is another new invention just because of cannabis we have. There is the endocannabinoid system, ECS. This is a very complex system which acts at a cellular level. It's a cell signaling system which is identified early 1990s, which regulates all these functions. Let us see the functions. What are the functions regulated by ECS system? It regulates sleep. It regulates mood, elevation, and depression. It regulates appetite. It regulates memory, fertility, inflammatory signs and symptoms, inflammatory response, and smooth muscle relaxation, bone growth, callus bone formation, stress, and skin sensitivity. So these are various actions which are done by two key hormones known anandamide and 2-AG, 2-arachidonic acid. These two hormones are known key hormones in ECS system. Even the phytocannabinoid is also have the same type of action when we compare with the role of this ECS system as well the acute poisoning symptoms of cannabis or cannabis when it is consumed or when it is inhaled. And there are acts related to cannabis, as cannabis comes in the narcotic drugs. Before this act comes, 1985, NDPS Act have been come into force. Before this, there is no control from this board, narcotic board. And I could come across and I could give a few conclusions that the leaves and seeds of cannabis can be used as per this act. If I am wrong, please correct me. I could very I could go through very briefly about NDPS Act. As per this act, usage of leaves and seed of cannabis is not offense, but the flowers and the use of resin is offense about as per this NDPS Act. And when we see about the that's all about the brief about cannabis.
Thank you.
With
Thank
all
you very
this,
much.
I could
Thank you,
conclude myself.
Malikarjuna.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately,
Thank you.
I think we apologize to all our viewers for the background noise that we had, because the content that is being presented is extremely, extremely valuable. Thank you for being with us. If I take the liberty of one quick question, the community
After the speeches, sir.
Okay,
Kindly after. Only 2 speakers are left. Till now, 2 speakers are left.
Thank you, Bhavanji.
Sorry, sir. So now I would like to request Dr. Piyush Juneja, founder IndianVedyash.com, and he is very passionate about hemp, promotion of hemp. He has organized various seminars, webinars, and expos on hemp. So now I would like to request
Bhavanji, आपका आवाज कट गया जी थोड़ा.
Dr. Piyush Juneja. Welcome, Dr. Piyush.
Thank you, Dr. Pawan. First of all, I am very much honored to share the dais of this webinar today. I am very, I will say, at a very initial phase of our journey. It's just around 15 years now, as far as the clinical practice is concerned. Today, I will focus on the other part. So first of all, Dr. Rabindranath Acharya ji, thank you so much for your valuable time. You are our Director General of Central Council of Research in Ayurveda Sciences, and you are the director, or I will say you are one of the pioneer, which we all are looking forward to drive the research activities in this country around Ayurveda. So we definitely are looking forward to have your guidance in future as well. Thank you so much for giving your time. And Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Pandey, Professor and HOD from BHU, Department of Sangyaharan. First of all, thank you so much, sir. First time I have listened to you today, and it's an excited, and I'm very excited, by the way, after your talk, the mindset you have. I was not aware people like you are also there in Ayurveda, in the terms of exploring the opportunities which we can around all these plants and drugs. So thank you so much, sir, for your valuable guidance. Dr. P. Rao, excellent session, sir. Very well drafted, and you have touched upon several aspects, in fact, in my presentation also, but I will quickly go through. And Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharma, he is the torch bearer of these kind of sessions, and a world record holder, I think, and we are very much motivated always to see your efforts, sir. Thank you so much again. And Dr. Madan, straight away from Cambridge, UK, the way you are moderating, the way you are disseminating the information, the way you are connecting the dots today is beautifully done, sir. Very well appreciated, and the entire session is like you are just having your grip. The entire session is being coordinated in a very beautiful way by both of you. So I'm very much honored again, and on that note, I will start my talk today with a very small story. So what happened in India is, and I will give you the perspective of the private practitioner, the challenges of the private practitioner in this country, private practitioner of Ayurveda in this country. So what happened was around a few years back, certain companies were being approved as far as the medicines and the Ayurveda classical and Ayurveda proprietary medicines were concerned. उनको approval मिलता है, and they start marketing as usual. In fact, by the way, it's a technically a schedule E drug, but digitally and social media, Instagram, Facebook, online websites, everywhere they are marketing medical cannabis, medicines, tinctures, capsules, tablets, and through that marketing, they are doing business of lakhs in our country. Many non-Ayurveda doctors are positioning themselves as medical cannabis practitioners. Just type name in Google You will find so many non-Ayurveda doctors, allopaths, homeopaths, dietitians. They are mentioning, they are quoting themselves as medical cannabis practitioners. And technically, till now, the medicines which are being approved in our country are only Ayurveda classical medicine. Kindly understand this point. Only Ayurveda classical medicine and Ayurveda proprietary medicine is being approved as far as cannabis medicines are concerned in our country till now. No other pathy has approved any drug. There are certain medicines in homeopathy, I know that. But apart from that, allopathy and other pathies have not approved any medicine till now. So, but the problem here is people are either confused or maybe lack of awareness. So I will quickly today try to touch upon, hope my slides are visible to all of you. So I will quickly today touch upon certain aspects, and please remember these aspects because I request our council, our ministry, our bodies, we have from CCRS, BHU and other bodies today in this webinar as well. Kindly let's proceed in a positive framework because see, there is a challenge when patient come to us, they say that Dr. Saab is dawaii se fayda ho raha hai, and we found that either the company directly selling to them, although prescription is a formality, thanks to the government recently we get this notification that all the scheduled drugs will not be purchased from any site without prescription, but still it is a formality, we all know, and the entire domain has not been positioned in a way it has to be. And when we try to practice, there are hurdles, there are inquiries against us. Government is there standing, rather than supporting us, they are inquiring us. So that is a bit sad because we are trying to, and why I am so passionate and why I am so desperate in exploring this particular field is due to two reasons. One is this, हमारे वेद में 5 सैक्रेड प्लांट्स को अथर्ववेद में बताया गया है, जिसमें से तुलसी की हम पूजा करते हैं, चंदन को हम अपने मस्तक पर लगाते हैं, नीम और जैस्मिन के औषधि के फायदे हम सबको पता है एज ए वैद्य, बट वो पांचवा पौधा, वो पांचवा प्लांट, that fifth plant, that is Vijaya, bhang, has been negatively positioned, has been negatively labeled by the external rulers, by the Britishers. जब Britishers के doctors यहाँ पे आए, they have taken and they have given that to the Queen of England to heal the menstrual cycle pain. उनको समझ में आ गया था कि एक सिंगल ऐसा प्लांट है, अगर इसको छोड़ दिया खुला तो पूरी एलोपैथिक फार्मा जगत को ये थ्रेट दे सकता है. This single one plant can give threat to the entire pharma, which everybody knows, कहीं ना कहीं सब जानते हैं. But again, the problem here is maybe there are hurdles, there are issues, but we all have to find a way now. I think we all have to find a way now कि कैसे रास्ता निकालें और कितना अलाउ है एटलीस्ट वहां तो एक्सप्लोर करें. We all know about the usages of hemp. Apart from medical, we can use in fiber, paper. Uttarakhand में there is a house built up of hemp stock. घर बना है वहाँ पे. Then medicines हैं. Hemp seed and hemp seed oil has been approved in FSSAI in 15 November 2021 के circular में. So now it is under FSSAI as a food. It can be sold as a food. So this is the plant, and have so many other, we can explore. Research is going on hemp fuel. Plastic abhi ban hua, so we can have hemp fiber, hemp like bags, and many things can be made by the hemp. And this is one of the most, you can say, available plant in our country. I think इसके बारे में already people have discussed. So we know sativa indica hybrid, Vijaya, bhang, hemp, cannabis, but the recreational aspect of this plant is weed, ganja, marijuana, hashish, joint, pot. So we never support and we never encourage the recreational aspect. We only want to strengthen the medical aspect right now, which I have to quote as far as our movement and our initiative is concerned. But there are issues about the legal status, medical use, addictive potential. Okay, ये तो addictive है, इससे नशा होता है. And what are the medical and psychosocial consequences? And always it has been positioned negative by all the other pathy of doctors, but that is not the way now. And we need to now take it forward in terms of a movement, or maybe after this webinar, if anything further can be done. So all these are strains. So we all know that more than 60, in fact more than 100 now cannabinoids have been identified in this beautiful plant. And THC is, which is known as tetrahydrocannabinol, and CBD and CBN, these are main receptor, you can say, active ingredients. And Dr. Rao beautifully mentioned about the endocannabinoid system. So basically, these are the acting, you can say, active ingredients in this plant. And CBD is non-psychotropic, THC is psychotropic. So that's why THC is being positioned a bit negative, CBD is being positioned a bit positive. So you will see CBD oil, CBD medicines across the West, Canada, US, Australia. In Australia, they have approved as an OTC. In Thailand, they have announced it as a national plant. Health Minister of Thailand is distributing hemp plant to the entire country. If you see the news and if you are updated about the news, it's $1 billion business across the world. But as correctly mentioned by one of the speaker, that Sone ki Chidiya, India is still realizing the potential, still is way behind what world is realizing about this plant. And in US, 2018 Farm Bill removed hemp from the federal controlled substance list. In 2019, they have done the press release that hemp is not a controlled substance. It grew from $367 million in 2017, and it is expected to reach $22 billion in 2024. So it's a huge business right now in US, Canada, Australia, and everywhere. And India can India can gradually grow from a developing nation to the developed nation if we can understand this is just one plant of Ayurveda. By the way, we have so many plants like this. Anyway, so FDA has approved one CBD product, Epidiolex, till now, but again, it has been marketed overall as a supplement in US. And as far as India is concerned, it is in Schedule E. The leaves and seeds, I repeat, the leaves and seeds are not under NDPS Act. It is out of NDPS Act. I will show you the RTI also, which we have filed recently, and we got the reply. So all the registered Ayurveda doctors can prescribe the classical and proprietary medicine. Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh state drug approval authorities have approved several medicines which are being marketed across the country right now. And we can prescribe as an Ayurveda doctor. That is our right. If any state authority is approving any Ayurveda classical or proprietary medicine, I don't think so anyone can ask us not to prescribe those medicines, which sadly is being done these days, which is again, I request the authorities to please stop that. Ayurveda classical and proprietaries are the categories. Prescription is mandatory. Definitely, it's a Schedule E drug, Schedule E1. And all the doctors should be responsible in managing the accountability and inventory in their clinics, that how many bottles, how many stock they are purchasing, what exactly the patients they are maintaining, patient register. In fact, the latest Clinical Establishment Act also talks about this, that you have to maintain all the records in your clinics whenever you are doing a practice. So please do in the legal framework, please follow the guidelines, follow the law. But this is absolutely legal as far as the leaves and seeds are concerned. We have filed this RTI to the concerned departments, and we have written, kindly clarify that Ayurvedic medicines prepared from cannabis leaf powder and cannabis leaf extract and approved by respected state Ayurveda drug authority comes under the purview of NDPS Act or not. And also please clarify that Ayurveda doctors prescribing and dispensing Ayurveda medicines are like required any kind of permission from Narcotics Control Bureau for prescribing and dispensing the medicine from their respective clinic. And the reply which we have received is that it does not, like when seeds and leaves are not accompanied by the flowering and fruiting top, so it does not come under the purview of NDPS Act. So means technically we don't need any permission. We can practice all the products, all the medicines, all the available marketed medicines and products in the market which are being prepared by the seeds or the leaves and the extracts of the leaves. Ark is known as in Ayurveda, extract means ark. So all these are there which we can practice and which we can in the legal framework we can do. But yes, without prescription, not allowed. You have to maintain the stock and sale and purchase records. Everything should be documented, that for whom you are prescribing, for what reason you are giving to the patient, the reason, the disease should be mentioned. And accordingly, if you are practicing in an ethical and legal way, I don't think so there is an issue, which they have also clarified very recently. We have done this RTI to the concerned department. I think human endocannabinoid system already being mentioned in this webinar, so I will not touch upon more, but you can just see that all these receptors are there across the body. And I will like to add quote one thing here as an Ayurveda practitioner, what we have seen. So what exactly this is doing is, entire Ayurveda system is so capable that when we are giving to the patient, it is healing from the root cause. And adding cannabis, adding medical cannabis, Vijaya, hemp is acting as a catalyst many times that it is increasing the cellular permeability, it is increasing the cellular repair rate, it is increasing the overall metabolism in the body, and sometimes it is actually acting as a catalyst to enhance and to elevate and to decrease the time of healing. So earlier we used to see the patients were healing in several months, like 8 to 10 months. Now they are healing in few months, and it is not at all addictive, and it is very effective in diseases like pain management, insomnia, skin diseases, IBS, adjuvant with cancer management, anxiety, stress, so many other diseases. I can't write all the diseases here, but these are the top, you can say, 6 diseases which we have seen in our practice, and the doctors who are associated with us have seen excellent result. In Ayurveda, generally when people come, they need some fast acting results to sustain. As a private practitioner, we have to retain and sustain them. Definitely people having panchkarma setups, mam chikitsa, agni karma can give fast results. But a simple Ayurveda OPD doctor with just simple medicines of Kash Oshdhi and Rash Oshdhi, there are certain limitations in acute pain management. We all know that. And if we use medical cannabis, that acute pain management can be done very easily from the day one, from the first dose, as a sometimes faster than an Ayurveda, than an allopathic painkiller. This particular medicine works, and without much side effects, very, very minimum side effects, sometimes like some dizziness, sedation, or some nausea, or some kind of. And by the way, in Ayurveda, it is just we need to understand the Pith Prakriti people, and the Pith Prakop is there because it increases Pith, and it's an excellent Vatavyadi remedy. In those aspects, we need to like manage our practice. And there are so many research trials available. I was very much excited to see Madaji was sharing so many references. So there were several studies done where they have seen that it is having a significant analgesic effect, and especially the neuropathic pain, fibromyalgias of the world, autoimmune disorders, which are very, very challenging in terms of management, in terms of as a private practitioner in any pathy. They are one of the most challenging diseases in terms of the pain management is concerned. And with cannabis, we have seen so many people. In fact, one of my guru in terms of like we were doing the integrated kind of thing in Uttarakhand. So he was from allopathic side of the part, and his wife was suffering from fibromyalgia, and they have tried, and leading, you can say, practitioner of our city. So now they are on this medical cannabis, and it's excellent in terms of healing. So many allopaths are now coming and accepting this as well, by the way. Insomnia, again, so many research studies. I will not take much time because time is limited. We have another speaker. But in nutshell, we need to understand for insomnia, predominantly 3 aspects: inducing sleep, reducing nightmares, and improving sleep quality. The best part is it can convert the negativity into positivity. That has been seen in the research studies, that it can influence the content and emotional intensity of the dreams as well. So if people are thinking negative and during the COVID, in these challenging times, so much of anxiety, stress is there. So everybody is having disturbed sleep cycles, insomnia, they are not able to sleep. And this is one of the best solution. People were taking 2, 2, 3, 4 sedatives, inducing sleep medicines and allopathic system of medicine, and still they were not getting the sleep. They were having so many side effects. With a single dose of the first day, replacing the entire allopathic medicines with just one single dose of medical cannabis is helpful in insomnia. And that is the confidence it will give to you as a private practitioner कि patient आता है, डॉक्टर साहब सारी एलोपैथिक दवाइयां पहले दिन से बंद करनी है, yes कर दीजिए, और इस मेडिसिन के साथ आप स्टार्ट करें with definitely some other medicines of Ayurveda. Results are from the first day you can get. And the best part is it reduced the opioid addiction. Why it is popular in US, by the way, if you just think, and Madanji can also share his input. He has a good exposure of international scenarios. So why it is so popular in US, getting so popular in US, because the entire US was suffering from opioid addiction. They were using highest level of opioids for their so many issues, including cancer, and they were suffering from opioid addictions. It has reduced 53%. You can see reduction in the opioid usage has been seen after the cannabis administration. So it is very significant in terms of reducing the opioid addiction. And I'm talking about, by the way, the allopathic opioid medicines. I have been featured in various channels. Why I'm showing this to all of you is just to give a clarity that if you just focus on this aspect of medical cannabis, all of us as a team can grow and go to the society and can establish ourselves that yes, these are the people who are treating, and we were lucky enough to be featured with All India Institute of Ayurveda and other dignitaries in this program. And I give credit to two reasons for this, why I am being featured, why I was able to heal. One is the Ras Shastra of Ayurveda, and second is the medical cannabis. These two reasons were there that we were being able to featured on this particular news channel. In end, I just want to conclude with 2-3 aspects, and I will close my discussion talk here. First point is, we need to understand that this is legal as far as the seeds and leaves are concerned. However, there are companies and there are other professionals who are exploiting this domain right now, which we should stop, because technically and ethically, this is just an Ayurveda medicines which an Ayurveda doctor only can prescribe. People know the potential, they know the value of this, so everybody is trying to get the benefit from this now domain in our country. So we request to the councils, we request to the ministries to please check that first. Second, more and more research is required, because we are just right now focused on seeds and leaves. But when we go to the flower and bud, excellent result in the cancer reduction. If any one of you is interested, please go to the next Netflix tonight. Today is weekend, tomorrow is Sunday. I am just typing the name of the documentary. With anyone of you can just check this, Beat the People on Netflix. So just see this documentary. Kids suffering from very rare kind of cancers in US were being administered by medical cannabis, and their cancers were gone. Like pediatricians, allopathy doctors, they were surprised to see that what is going on. And they have stated on record that we are withdrawing ourselves from the allopathic medicine, and we are dedicating the entire life to medical cannabis practice. That has been quoted in this documentary by several allopathic doctors in US, that yes, we have seen the tremendous results of this particular herb, that is cannabis, especially in the cancer cases, especially the reduction of tumors, especially it has been vanished and gone from the reports. They were not able to believe where it has disappeared when they have started getting the cannabis medicines. So this is one just small example which I'm quoting right now. We are very behind right now. I request again from this platform to the ministry, to the councils, everyone, please, let's focus on this. This is our heritage. This is our ancient plant. And on last, I would just like to show all of you, I think if it is visible. So this, I have done this tattoo. This is a permanent tattoo, by the way. So I am proud of being Vaidya. If you see that Vaidya is there, and this leaf, this medical cannabis leaf, from last 3 years, we are actively into this, and we have seen the potential of this particular plant. So I request all of you, I'm very young, I'm very new as a Ayurveda practice. I'm just around 15 years in my professional experience. You all are stalwarts, legends. Whatever contribution we can make to get this particular plant as maximum weightage with backed research, scientific research and data, we all should do that. And on that note, I will again thanks to the organizer, Dr. Pawan, Madanji, and the entire team for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts in this webinar today. Hope I was able to clarify certain aspects, and in future, anything in detail is required, we are always there to take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Piyush ji. You've touched on some very key points, but we'll come to this in the discussion. I think Pawan ji will want to take us forward to our next speaker, botany expert coming to us from Uttarakhand. Pawan ji, Pranam ji.
Thank you, sir. We have discussed almost all aspects of cannabis. Now only one aspect is left, that is identification. I am also going to Haridwar on 28th and 29th. I will be there after Delhi. So from Haridwar, the city of Lord Shiva, we would like to welcome Dr. Madhu Sharma. She is head of the department botany, and she will inspire us with identification of medical cannabis. Welcome, doctor. She is professor in Chinmay Degree College, Haridwar. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Madhu ji, Pranam ji.
Pranam, sir.
Finally, we have you here presenting. Bahut badhiya. You were
Hariom to all of you. First of all, I would like to extend my thanks to Dr. Pavan sir, Madan sir, Agnihotri sir, and all the team of this webinar for giving me opportunity. I also thank Dr. Acharya sir, Dr. Pandey sir, Dr. Rao sir, and Dr. Juneja sir for sharing valuable information on this plan. So today I am presenting on the taxonomy. That is the morphology and reproductive feature of cannabis sativa. Cannabis sativa, which was named by Linnaeus, and in Hindi it is also known as Vijaya. This belongs to family Cannabinaceae, and commonly it is also called as hemp family. First of all, we'll see the classification of systematics, which is given by Bentham and Hooker. It belongs to kingdom Plantae. The cannabis is included in the division Angiosperms, class Dicotyledons, order Rosales, family Cannabaceae. It is also known by Cannabinaceae, and genus is Cannabis, and the species is Sativa L. And the three subspecies are known, which is Sativa itself, Indica, and Rudralis. The other names or the vernacular names in Hindi is Bhang and Vijaya, and in English we call it hemp or marijuana. Morphology of cannabis sativa. First of all, we see the distribution. It is native to Central Asia, but now it is widely distributed due to widespread cultivation. It is basically cultivated for industrial fiber, seed oil, food, for recreation purposes, religious and spiritual moods, and medicines. Each part of the plant is harvested, and it has its use. And the species was first classified by Carl Linnaeus in 1753. The word sativa actually means things that are cultivated. So these are the three species, and we can see the difference. Sativa, which is the plant is very tall, and the leaves are very dense, and Indica, the plant is short, and Rudralis, it is shorter than Indica. So this is the main differences between these three subspecies. Now we can see the leaves of these three subspecies and the hybrid. The leaves are compound, and the leaflet in Indica is much more the leaflets in Sativa is much more than Indica and Rudralis. First of all, the number of leaflets is more in Sativa than in Indica, and finally, the number of leaves is very less in Rudralis. And here we can see there are number of hybrids also. This slide is showing that how the cannabis distribution, it is widely distributed and mostly cultivated in different countries for the hemp or for the fiber or for medicine. Mainly the hemp or the fiber which we get from male plant, which is called as hemp, and the medicines are prepared from the extract of the female plant. Now the vegetative characters of the plant. Basically, it is a terrestrial plant, and the plant is annual. Some of the species may be perennial also. It is an aromatic herb, or some of the species may be undershrubs also. The root is a type of taproot system, and the stem is erect branched, and it is around, I'm talking about here the cannabis sativa. So the height is around 2.5 meter high, and the bark is very fibrous. Leaves are palmately compound, and each compound leaf has around 3 to 7 foliate segments, and the shape of the leaf is linear to lanceolate, and even some of them are elliptic also, and they are narrow at both the ends. The tip is acuminate, and margins are serrated. The upper epidermis of the leaf contains cystolith, which is made up of calcium carbonate, and the petioles are also very long, and the leaves consist of stipules. Now the reproductive characters, coming to the reproductive characters, the plants are aromatic and resinous as it produces resins. They are annual, dioecious. Dioecious here means the male and female plants are different, and the flowers are also different. The male plant produces male flowers, and the female plant produces female flowers. And the height of the male plant is, they are much taller than female plants. And the female plants are much branched, and the number of leaves in comparison to male plants is much more. Inflorescences of different types. Male flowers have panicle sign type of inflorescence, and female flowers, they are clustered, or the flowers are present in cluster. Flowers are bracts and bracteolate. Bracts and bracteolates are small, thin membranous structures which are found. Bracts are specially found at the base of the pedicel, and bracteoles are found on the pedicel itself. So flowers are unisexual, but some of the species which are bisexual, they contains both male and female flowers. Calyx and corolla, that is sepals and petals, are absent, and instead of calyx and corolla, thin membranous structure is present, which is called as perianth. And each segment of the perianth is known as tepal. So in male, there are 5 tepals, and in female, there is only 1 tepal. The color of the tepal may be yellowish green, and it has white margins, and the estivation or the arrangement of the tepal is imbricate. Now, this template is showing the difference between male and female plant. Male plants are longer than female plants, and in comparison to number of leaves, male plants have less leaves than female plants. So this is the basic difference. Now, this slide is showing the difference between sativa, indica, and rudralis. And besides this, it is also showing the structure of the plant. Sativa, which is tall, and it attains height of about 4 to 15 feet, and internode spacing is about 3 to 6 inches, and leaves are very long and thin. In indica, these are small, and in comparison to sativa, and the height is around 1 to 6 feet. The internode spacing is less than 3 inches. Rudralis, which are very small plants, and their height is around 1 to 3 feet, and they have very tight internode spacing and frequent branching. Now, the inflorescence, that is flowering, the male flowers, which are in panicle sign, they are incomplete actinomorphic. Actinomorphic here means when the flower, which can be divided into equal halves from any plane. So the flowers are actinomorphic, yellowish green in color. The number of stamens is 5, and the perianth also, or the number of tepals is also 5. The tepals are caducous, which means when the stamens mature, they shed off. Then filaments are short. Then anthers are dithecous, dorsiflex, and they open lengthwise. Male flowers are smaller in size, and they are produced in very large numbers, and they also produce pollen grains in large number. After shedding pollen grains, male plants die. Female flowers, which is also called as pistillate flowers, they are clustered or in the raceme form, and each inflorescence consists of around 5 to 7 flowers, and it consists of perianth and ovaries globose. It is superior, unique carpellary with 1 ovule, and it has a single leaf-like bract. And basically, the stigma, the glandular hairs which are present on the female reproductive structures produces THC, or the chemicals which are used in medicine. So basically, male plants is used for extracting fibers, and they are called as hemp, and the glandular hairs on the female flower, which produces carotenoids, which produces tetrahydrocannabinoids, are used in medicine. Then pollination, the plant is wind pollinated or anemophilous. Fruits are achenes, they are oval shaped, and number of fruits per inflorescence is 4 to 6, and they have a persistent perianth, and the color of the fruit is brown. Seeds, the number of seeds per fruit is 1. They are small, smooth, endospermic, and they are brownish in color. The floral formula of male and female flower, they are male flower and female flower, both have bracts and bracteoles. So it is denoted by bracteate and bracteolate. Actinomorphic, male flower is indicated by this sign. Then tepal is 5, stamens number is 5, and the ovary is absent in the male flower. The female flower is also bracteate, bracteolate, ectodomorphic. Then it has only the female part. The tepal number is 1. There is no stamen in it, so we denote it by 0. A is 0 for the stamens. There are no stamens in the female flower. Gynoecium carpel number is 1 and the ovary is superior. The superior ovary is denoted by a small line below G. Then plants flower mostly in the month of May and August, and fruiting may begin in August itself and ends up to October. The plants are common in roadsides, waste places, and it is cultivated in many temperate and tropical areas, and it is native of Central Asia. Economic importance, basically fibers, the bark fibers which is extracted from male plants, it is used for making rope, sacks, rough clothes, and the stem is used as a fuel. Seeds are used as condiments, and seed oil is also edible. Leaves and flowers used as intoxicating agents. So this slide is showing the male and the female plants. So male plants which are taller than female plants, and here these two slides are showing the inflorescence. This is the male inflorescence and this is the female inflorescence. Now this slide is showing how the male plants are used for extracting fibers, and the fibers are called as bast fibers because they are extracted from the bark of the plant and also from the phloem also. Now, medicinal uses of the cannabis, as it is mostly used for the treatment of cancer, glaucoma, HIV/AIDS, muscle spasms, seizures, severe pain, severe nausea. Then synthesized cannabinoids are also used and they are used as a prescription drugs. Now, forms and preparations, many drugs are also prepared from different parts of the plant like ganja, charas, and bhang. Ganja, the unfertilized female flowering tops are used for the preparation of ganja. Then charas or hashish, which is used, which are prepared from trichomes only. And bhang, which is a blend of seed and flowers and the stem and leaves of sativa plant. So this particular slide is showing the floral diagrams. This first and second slides are showing the diagrams of male and female plants and the male and female flower and seeds also. This is the floral diagram of male and female plant. The black line below is showing the bracts. 2 yellow lines are showing the bracteoles. Then the green part is showing the perianth or the tepals, which have imbricate estivation. Then these are the 5 anthers, and there is no ovary in the male flower. Then female flowers, this also consists of bracteoles. Then perianth number can be 1 or 5. Then the stamens are absent in the female flower, and there is 1 single pistil, and there is 1 ovule. So जब हम बहुत ज्यादा ले लेते हैं कैनबिस, या कोई भी पेशेंट या कोई भी व्यक्ति जो है ज्यादा यूज करता है कैनबिस सटाइवा का, तो उसके शॉर्ट टर्म और लॉन्ग टर्म इफेक्ट्स हैं. शॉर्ट टर्म इफेक्ट्स में अगर हम देखें, so it causes impaired attention, memory, and psychomotor performances while intoxicated. Then cannabis induced psychosis, and there is an increased risk of motor vehicle accident. Long term अगर हम इसके इफेक्ट्स देखें तो there is a subtle impairment in attention, memory, and the ability to organize complex information, risk of developing dependence on cannabis, respiratory problems such as bronchitis. Then there is an increased possibility of heart attack, increased rate of lung cancer, then increased likelihood of precancerous changes. Then there may be oral health problems, human female fertility. It also affects human female fertility. There is difficulty with problem solving and attention for children exposed to cannabis in the womb. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. This is my last slide. I am going out of way. As day by day global warming is increasing, this is my humble request to all of one to plant more and more trees, and also encourage others to plant more, so that the global warming can be fight properly. Thank you, everyone.
Madhuji, thank you very much. बहुत धन्यवाद. You've given us the details of the botanical aspects of hemp, and I think it is becoming clear that today's discussions are widening. Pavanji, if you would like
Thank you,
to say
sir.
something.
We hope that we have covered all the aspects today, sir. Right
you.
from the identification to the medicinal usage and law.
Thank you, Pavanji.
Now stage is yours, sir.
Thank you, Pavanji.
You are the. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pavanji. Thank you so much. Pavanji is once again, Pavanji, number one. We want all of us here or everybody watching on YouTube, we're all congratulating you and your mastermind strategy to bring so many of us together here on this platform, starting with Acharya ji, Pandey ji, and Junaida ji, Rao Saab, and finally Madhuji. Thank you so much. You have touched many, many aspects of what we need to understand. In the chat box, I have put a lot of information about what is going on in the world. And in particular, I highlighted one news item. I take the liberty of sharing this. This is just to highlight the importance that is being given here, particularly for that one compound that is now recognized anti-epileptic, and it has been reclassified in the UK's drugs classification system. We have a misuse of drugs regulation of 2001 here in the UK. That it is here for those who are here on the Zoom platform. The link is here. For those who are joining us on YouTube, you can search. If you just Google the search phrase, the misuse of drugs regulation. For the UK, you will find the legislation. And here in the UK, pharmaceutical company based here in Cambridge called GW Pharmaceuticals are now building a very large setup in Kent for medical cannabis because of all of these reasons. It's estimated that their project currently estimated about $100 million, a project that is coming up in Kent, and a huge amount of controlled growth conditions are now being used to maximize productivity of cannabis, medicinal cannabis. So this is one very important area. The second thing is about biodiversity that is there. I don't know if Acharya ji is here still with us, and early on, just after Acharya ji's comment, I highlighted the point about widening this discourse to think about biodiversity, think about the different species. And we're very happy to have here Sachin ji joining us from Uttarakhand. He's been raising his hand, also asking many questions. So I give the floor initially to Aswati ji. Aswati ji, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Thank you for being patient, and thank you for giving us so much information. The floor is yours. Please tell us a little more about what is happening in Uttarakhand in terms of growing collection, and what is your future, particularly in the context of what is happening with that anti-epileptic work here and GW Pharmaceuticals here in Cambridge. Aswati ji, floor is all yours. Namaskar ji.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, sir. I'm audible.
Please tell us, Aswati ji, please tell us a little more about yourself, your organization.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल मैं बताऊं. मैं आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे प्रॉपर्ली?
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल साफ आ रहा है आवाज आपका.
जी. हाँ, मैं एमडी हूँ शर्ब हेम्प इंडस वेंचर्स का. मेरे पास 2 लाइसेंसेस हैं. कल्टीवेशन का एक लाइसेंस है और एक वाइल्ड हेम्प कलेक्शन का है नैनीताल डिस्ट्रिक्ट का. ये 2 लाइसेंसेस हिंदुस्तान में सिर्फ मेरे पास है. कोई दूसरा आदमी नहीं है जिसके पास ये दोनों लाइसेंसेस हों. मैं लगातार काम कर रहा हूँ हेम्प पे. अभी हमने फूड सिक्योरिटी स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ इंडिया में हेम्प सीड को रिकॉग्नाइज कराया है. उसके लिए बहुत लंबी लड़ाई लड़ी. अभी हम जो लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं वो ये कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जो हमारे सीड्स हैं, जो वैरायटीज हैं, जो स्ट्रेन्स हैं, उनको हम नोटिफाई करा सकें. इसके अलावा हम काम करना चाहते हैं जो हमारे इंडियन स्ट्रेन्स हैं उस पे. एक्चुअली उत्तराखंड गवर्नमेंट ने जो 0.3% THC का नॉर्म्स लगाया है, इसके कारण कोई भी आदमी कल्टीवेशन कर ही नहीं पा रहा, कर पाएगा भी नहीं। सेकंड थिंग है जिसके लिए हम बहुत ज्यादा कंसर्न है, हमने पीएमओ से लेके सब जगह लिखा है, इस पे पीएमओ ने ICAR को इंस्ट्रक्शंस भी दिए हैं कि लोग बाहर से सीड लाके हमारी बायोडायवर्सिटी खराब ना करें। 2 वीडियो मैंने शेयर किए हैं आपके साथ। एक्चुअली उत्तराखंड अकेला ऐसा राज्य है जहां पे ये काम हो रहा है, इंडस्ट्रियल हेम्प और मेडिकल कैनबिस पे। उत्तराखंड बहुत छोटा सा राज्य है। 76% लैंड जो है वो फॉरेस्ट की लैंड है, 24% लैंड बस्ती है। उस लैंड में मैक्सिमम लैंड जो है वो उस पे सिटीज बन गई हैं, नॉर्मल खेती हो रही है, कुछ पहाड़ है, नदियां हैं। तो हमारे पास बहुत छोटा सा लैंड बचता है जिसपे हम कैनबिस की का कल्टीवेशन कर सकते हैं। इशू ये है कि अगर हमारे यहाँ फॉरेन सीड आ जाता है तो हमारी जो मेडिकल कैनबिस है ये इंडस्ट्रियल कैनबिस में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगी। ये बिल्कुल वैसे होगा जैसे गाय के साथ हुआ, हमने उसको इंसेमिनेट किया तो A2 मिल्क वाली गाय जो है वो खत्म हो गई। कैनबिस के साथ बहुत भयावह स्थिति है, ये बहुत डेंजरस बात है कि गाय 5 साल में एक बार बच्चा देती है और उसको इंसेमिनेट करना पड़ता है। कैनबिस जो है जो सेल्फ पॉलिनेट कर जाती है, इंसेमिनेशन की जरूरत नहीं है और 10 किलोमीटर तक कर दी। तो अगर हमने 3 या 4 क्रॉप ले ली विदेशी बीज की तो हमारी भांग का DNA एकदम चेंज हो जाएगा, उसको हम फिर बचा नहीं पाएंगे। एक्चुअली हमारी जो भांग है जिसको लोग बोलते हैं कैनबिस सटीवा, कैनबिस इंडिका के अलग अलग तरीके की बताते हैं, एक बुशी होती है, एक लंबी होती है, एक नशा ज्यादा होता है, एक नशा कम होता है। हिंदुस्तान में एक भी भांग ऐसी नहीं है जो 0.3% से कम की हो। तो इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से सटीवा हिंदुस्तान में है ही नहीं। और सटीवा जो हमारी है वो 12 से 15-18 फुट हाइट की है हमारी जो भांग है, मतलब वो 100% सटीवा है। तो हमारी जो भांग है वो इसलिए बहुत विशेष है क्योंकि इसमें इंडिका और सटीवा के दोनों के कंबाइंड गुण हैं। इसको बचाना बहुत जरूरी है, बायोडायवर्सिटी पे काम करना बहुत जरूरी है, एक चीज। दूसरी चीज जो हमारा सीड है, जो हमारे स्ट्रेन्स हैं, वो स्ट्रेन्स को पहचान के उन स्ट्रेन्स का DNA करा के उन स्ट्रेन्स पे सीड बैंक तैयार करना एक बहुत बड़ा टास्क है। आप लोग मेडिसिन पे काम कर रहे हैं तो आपको अच्छा कैनबिस प्रोडक्ट चाहिए, आपको अच्छी लीफ चाहिए, अच्छा बड चाहिए, अच्छे सीड चाहिए। इंडस्ट्रियल हेम्प से अगर हम इसको क्रॉस पॉलिनेट करा देंगे तो बर्बाद हो जाएगा उत्तराखंड का पूरा एनवायरमेंट। वो हम नहीं चाहते, उसके लिए हम लगातार लगे। सेकंड थिंग, जब हमने ये पता किया कि हम किसी भी तरीके से कल्टीवेशन नहीं कर सकते हैं ड्यू टू 0.3% रूल, तो हमने ये निर्णय लिया कि हम वाइल्ड हेम्प कलेक्शन का एक लाइसेंस लेंगे। वाइल्ड हेम्प कलेक्शन का लाइसेंस जो अंग्रेजों ने बनाया था, 1910 का वो लाइसेंस है, कहीं से खोज के निकाला और उसका एक लाइसेंस हमने लिया है। नैनीताल डिस्ट्रिक्ट पूरी की पूरी हमारे पास है। नैनीताल डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जितना वाइल्ड हेम्प है सब हम काट सकते हैं, सब हम आपको प्रोवाइड करा सकते हैं। उसका फाइबर निकाल के इंडस्ट्री को दे सकते हैं, उसके सीड का उपयोग कर सकते हैं, लीफ का उपयोग कर सकते हैं। सेक्शन 9 में बड पे रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं, वो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस सिर्फ और सिर्फ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट उसमें कुछ छूट हमको दे सकती है। अगर कुछ सेटअप ऐसा जमता है या कुछ ऐसा लगता है कि BHU काम करना चाहता है, IIT दिल्ली काम करना चाहता है, ICAR में हमारी बात चल रही है, अगर कोई ऐसा आप लोगों के मन में कुछ है कि कुछ करना चाहिए सीड्स के लिए, स्ट्रेन्स वेरिफिकेशन के लिए, या आपको अच्छी पत्तियां चाहिए उसके लिए, तो हम उसमें आपके सहयोगी बन सकते हैं। हम बहुत ज्यादा पैसे के लालची नहीं है, ना हम पैसे के लिए बहुत ज्यादा काम कर रहे हैं। हम काम कर रहे हैं इंडस्ट्री के लिए, भांग को शिव को समर्पित करना है। कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जिसको सुनना और समझना, बोलना जरूरी है। 12 ज्योतिर्लिंगों में 8 ज्योतिर्लिंग ऐसे हैं जिनमें आप भगवान शंकर को भी भांग नहीं चढ़ा सकते लीगली। ये एक बहुत बुरी बात है। कुछ चीजें और हैं भांग के साथ जिस पे हमको काम करना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। वो ये है कि सारे स्टेट्स के अलग अलग लॉज हैं, उन लॉज को हम सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से कुछ ऐसा कराएं कि पूरे देश में एक सा लॉ हो जाए। ये बहुत जरूरी है। मेडिकल कैनबिस में जो आप लोग जो पीयूष भाई वगैरह सब काम कर रहे हैं, इनको जो रॉ मटेरियल मिल रहा है वो रॉ मटेरियल मिलता है एक्साइज से। एक्साइज का हम आपको सिस्टम बताते हैं, क्योंकि हम ये काम करना है तो हमें मालूम है कि क्या हो रहा है। मध्य प्रदेश एक्साइज 40 रुपए किलो भांग हमसे खरीदती है। हम भांग को काटते हैं, काट के सुखाते हैं, सुखा के उसको पैक करते हैं, पैक करके 15 रुपए पर केजी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट उत्तराखंड को पे करते हैं। उसके बाद ट्रांसपोर्ट करके हम देते हैं मध्य प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट। मध्य प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट उस भांग की पत्तियों को, भांग के ठेके को और दवा कंपनियों को देती है। 40 रुपए किलो में अगर हम मेथी को भी सुखा के बेचेंगे तो 100 रुपए किलो बिकेगी। हमारे ऊपर इतने रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं, इतने ज्यादा रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हैं एनडीपीएस एक्ट के, कि उनके फाइल भरते भरते हमारी हालत खराब। तो हम इस पे भी काम करना चाह रहे हैं कि जो प्रोक्योरमेंट है फैक्ट्रीज के लिए, वो प्रोक्योरमेंट का सिस्टम सुधरे। डायरेक्ट ठेकेदारों से ले लिया जाए भांग, कंपनी ले ले, या औषधि भांग के लिए कोई अलग ग्रेड डिसाइड हो, उस ग्रेड में अच्छी क्वालिटी की भांग, साफ सुथरी भांग प्रोवाइड की जाए। क्योंकि जब तक आयुर्वेद ठीक से काम नहीं कर पाएगा, जब तक हर लॉट की कंसिस्टेंसी सेम नहीं होगी।
Ashwati ji, I'm going to stop you. थोड़ा सा break लेके, I just want to take 1 or 2 questions. You please stay with us. नवीन जी, शर्मा जी, please stay with us क्योंकि you are raising very important point. वो 1910 वाली एक्ट के बारे में थोड़ा एक सेंटेंस बता के, I want to invite नवीन शर्मा जी joining us. थोड़ा सा बताना जी उसके बारे में।
जी, एक्चुअली अंग्रेजों के समय में यूपी में कुछ डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स थी, जिन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में वाइल्ड हेम्प कलेक्शन के लाइसेंसेस दिए गए। उत्तराखंड में सिर्फ 2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं, एक हरिद्वार और एक नैनीताल, जहां पे ये लाइसेंस दिए जाते हैं। यूपी का कुछ अलग सिस्टम है। तो जो प्रोक्योरमेंट होता है फैक्ट्रीज के लिए या भांग के ठेकों के लिए, वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट करती है, और जो रेट्स हैं उनके वो बहुत ज्यादा खराब है। तो लोग क्या करते हैं कि गेंदे के जो फूल होते हैं, मैरीगोल्ड जो होता है, उसकी पत्तियां मिला दी, या जब हम प्रोक्योर करते हैं उसको, तो उसको साफ सफाई से नहीं करते हैं। आप देख लीजिए, भांग का कोई भी प्रोडक्ट आप उठा लीजिए, चाहे वो त्रिलोक विजयावटी हो, चाहे कुछ हो, आपको
एक मिनट जी, थोड़ा सा I want to focus on वो, could you tell us वो एक्ट की नाम जी, 1910 वाली एक्ट?
जी, वही एक्ट के बारे में बता रहा हूँ। वो बहुत सिंपल सा एक एक्ट है जो यूपी गवर्नमेंट
नहीं जी, I'm going to stop you. Ashwati जी, थोड़ा सा, just for the sake of time, just to keep it brief, just please give the name of the act and then we will come back to this point. नवीन शर्मा जी के बाद।
Wild Hemp Collection Act.
Wild Hemp Collection Act. Thank you जी, thank you जी। Ashwati जी, please stay with us because आप जो बता रहे चीज, it goes into the area of biodiversity. When you collect from the wild, क्या कुछ है आप लोगों के पास, वो सीड्स को थोड़ा सा प्रिजर्व करने के लिए कुछ है कुछ सिस्टम। We will come back to this one. I just want to see शायद नवीन जी की, शर्मा जी, नवीन जी नमस्कार। I just take
जी नमस्कार।
नमस्कार जी, नवीन जी आप कहाँ से जुड़ रहे हो जी आज?
जी मैं कांगड़ा हिमाचल प्रदेश से जुड़ रहा हूँ, मैं आयुर्वेदिक प्रैक्टिशनर हूँ यहाँ पे जी।
अच्छा जी, शाबाश, थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग अस।
थैंक यू। तो वैद्य नवीन गुप्ता जी ने जो पॉइंट रेज किया है, मैं बहुत दिनों से मेरे माइंड में यही है कि क्या हम हेम्प और सीबीडी या भांग में कहीं कंफ्यूज हो गए हैं शायद, क्योंकि जो हमारी इंडिजिनियस वेराइटीज हैं, जिसके बारे में कहा कि जो वाइल्ड कलेक्शन एक्ट हमारे पास ऑलरेडी था सो मुझे बहुत ज्यादा नॉलेज नहीं है इन टेक्निकल पॉइंट्स की, बट मैं ये सोच रहा था कि अगर हम हेम्प कल्टीवेशन के पीछे इतने ज्यादा एक्साइटेड हैं कि हेम्प कल्टीवेशन का लाइसेंस मिल जाए, और ये है कि जैसे नवीन जी ने भी बताया कि उसके पीछे जितनी भी टेक्निकलिटीज हैं वो पूरा करना, मुझे लगता नहीं है कि ये एक आम किसान के बस की बात होगी। और जिस तरह से हम इसको पोर्ट्रे कर रहे हैं, तो फिर अल्टीमेटली उन जो इंटरनेशनल सीड्स या उसको हम लाके यहाँ पे कल्टीवेट करेंगे, तो हमारी जो लोकल वेराइटीज जो वन ऑफ द बेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड कंसीडर की जाती हैं फॉर द मेडिसिनल यूज एंड ऑल, वो हो सकता है। तो जहां रहा इंटरनेशनल नॉर्म्स की बात, पीएससी और उसकी, तो मैं टेक्निकल यहाँ पे अगर कुछ लोग हों तो क्या नवीन जी मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा कि क्या वो 0.03 टीएचसी की जो बात है, क्या उसको लैब में कंट्रोल किया जा सकता है किसी तरह से?
इस पे मैं बोलूंगा, क्योंकि मेरे पास लाइसेंस है, मैं काम कर रहा हूँ 2.5 साल से
जी।
किसी भी तरीके से हिंदुस्तान में आप 0.3% टीएचसी का पौधा उगा ही नहीं सकते। रीजन 2 हैं। पहला रीजन ये है कि हमारे पास वो स्ट्रेन नहीं है। हम जो बाहर से स्ट्रेन लाते हैं वो स्ट्रेन यहाँ आके स्ट्रेस लेते हैं, और स्ट्रेस लेने के बाद वो कैसा रिएक्ट करते हैं कि मतलब जो 3-4 लोगों ने मंगाए थे स्ट्रेन, उनसे मेरी बात हुई है, 8 से 10% टीएचसी जाता है, और पौधा जो है वो 3-4 फीट 4.5 फीट से ऊपर नहीं होता। तो ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं है हिंदुस्तान में कि 0.3% को हम किसी भी तरीके से मेंटेन कर लें।
इवन की इंटरनेशनल सीड्स,
इवन इंटरनेशनल सीड्स। सेकंड थिंग, जब भी हम इंडस्ट्री की बात करते हैं तो हमको बहुत ज्यादा रॉ मटेरियल की जरूरत होती है। ऐसा नहीं है कि थोड़ा सा रॉ मटेरियल हो गया तो काम कर लेंगे। तो जब भी कोई इंडस्ट्री बनती है, चाहे शक्कर का कारखाना हो, चाहे पोटैटो चिप्स बनाने की लेज की कंपनी हो, या किसान टमाटो केचप हो, वो चाहती है कि हमारे घर के दरवाजे के सामने, फैक्ट्री के सामने हमको रॉ मटेरियल मिले। उसको उगाता किसान है। कहीं भी हिंदुस्तान में शिवालिक रेंज में स्टेप फॉर्मिंग जहां होती है, वहां आप ग्रीन हाउसेस नहीं लगा सकते। इतनी तेज हवा बहती है कि आप काम नहीं कर सकते। कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट में काम करना उत्तराखंड, हिमाचल और नॉर्थ ईस्ट की 7 स्टेट और जम्मू कश्मीर, टोटल 10 स्टेट्स ऐसी हैं जहां आप कर ही नहीं सकते कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट में काम भांग पे, क्योंकि हमको इतना ज्यादा मटेरियल चाहिए होता है कि वो हम कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट में नहीं कर सकते। थैंक यू।
ओके, ठीक है। सो मेरा डाउट यही था कि जो वाइल्ड कलेक्शन ऑफ हेम्प है, क्या उसके ऊपर ज्यादा से ज्यादा काम नहीं हो सकता है, जो ऑलरेडी बहुत सारी फार्मेसीज के पास जिनके लाइसेंस थे, जो क्लासिकल आयुर्वेदा फॉर्मुलेशंस को बना रही थी। और दूसरा एक और क्वेश्चन है कि ये जो हम अल्कोहलिक एक्सट्रैक्ट एंड CO2 एक्सट्रैक्ट ले रहे हैं, क्या हम इसको आयुर्वेदा में कंसीडर कर सकते हैं क्या?
अल्कोहलिक को आप कर सकते हैं, पर CO2 को नहीं कर सकते। एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है, इस पे मैं लगातार सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का ध्यान आकर्षित कर रहा हूं कि एक्चुअली आयुष के जो लाइसेंसेस होते हैं वो प्रोसेसेस के हिसाब से होते हैं। क्लासिकल ड्रग के जो लाइसेंसेस होते हैं वो प्रोसेस पे होते हैं। प्रोसेस अगर हम चेंज कर देते हैं तो लाइसेंस इनवैलिड हो जाना चाहिए, जो मेरे को समझ में आता है, जो कानूनी जो जितना लॉ मैं समझता हूं उसके हिसाब से। तो हमको ये चाहिए कि किसी भी तरीके से हमको इस बात पे एग्री कराना पड़ेगा गवर्नमेंट को कि जो नई टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं उससे हम उनका उपयोग करके हम क्लासिक ड्रग बना सके, जिससे उसकी एफिकेसी बढ़ सके। तो अभी एक सरकार ने सर्कुलर निकाला है आयुष वाला, कुछ साइकोट्रोपिक ड्रग्स, और इस पे मैं शेयर कर दूंगा पीयूष जी को। उसमें कुछ सुझाव मांगे हैं, शायद उसमें 1 महीने का समय है। उस पे सुझाव देना बहुत जरूरी है, और उस पे इस बात पे हमको अड़ना पड़ेगा कि जो आज की मॉडर्न टेक्निक्स हैं उन टेक्निक से हम शास्त्रोक्त दवाई बना सके। उससे हमारी एफिकेसी बढ़ेगी, दवाई का साइज कम होगा, तो मतलब ये बेहतर काम होगा।
अश्वथी जी, थैंक यू। ये जो आपने जो बताया, दिस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स, क्योंकि we cannot go too much into the जो मॉडर्न वाली बात आप जो बता रहे हैं, वी कांट गो टू मच देयर, क्योंकि इतनी कॉम्प्लेक्स चीज है ये पेड़ पौधे में। थोड़ा सा अगर चेंज हो जाए, थोड़ा लाइट के या टेम्परेचर की, द एंटायर केमिकल कंपोजिशन चेंजेस, नंबर वन। दूसरी चीज स्पीशीज डाइवर्सिटी, जो बात आपने जो बताया, वी हैव at least 3 recognized species, 1 species, indica species. This is why I asked the question about Uttarakhand या उस तरफ पहाड़ों की तरफ. What is the tradition there? I've just put one link here for a title, 210-year-old history of Uttarakhand's self-employment related to commercial cannabis cultivation. It's a very important document. We must keep in mind many things that we have to become sensitive to. Biodiversity. We must make a very detailed description of natural diversity available in all these regions. So every district down to the block level. तो हर एक ब्लॉक के ऊपर अश्वती जी, सो हमारी तरफ से ये है कि हर एक ब्लॉक के ऊपर we must have a very detailed map. गांव तक we must get a map कि कौन कौन सी गांव में कब से चल रहा है कल्टीवेशन, किसके पास है इसकी बीज. अब उसको we must try and preserve it. Whoever has the seeds, we must try and preserve it. So this must come within the discussions, not only ICAR but CSIR in Lucknow, जो आचार्य जी ने जो बताया. So that discussion must happen. Aswati ji, you are in a very strong position to make that discussion happen. The biodiversity down to the district and the block level, ideally to the village level, where we must start to preserve the seeds. एक चीज.
एक्चुअली सर मैं एक चीज सर ऐड करूंगा.
हाँ जी.
जो IBMR लखनऊ में जो काम चल रहा है,
हाँ जी.
उसमें ये कर रहे हैं कि THC को रिड्यूस कर रहा है. अगर THC को आप रिड्यूस कर देंगे तो मेडिकल कैनबिस में प्रॉब्लम आएगी. मेरा एक ही निवेदन है आप सभी लोगों से कि इंडस्ट्रियल कैनबिस और मेडिकल कैनबिस को दोनों को अलग अलग करके सरकार को देखना चाहिए. और इंडस्ट्रियल कैनबिस के लिए मध्य प्रदेश, उड़ीसा जो लैंड रेस हैं ऐसी, जो वहां पर बहुत ज्यादा जमीनें हैं, वहां इंडस्ट्रियल कराएं. और जहां जमीनें कम हैं और रेंज अच्छी है, शिवालिक रेंज में है जो स्टेट्स, वहां पे हम मेडिकल कैनबिस पे काम करें. तो ये होना बहुत जरूरी है. इसके लिए हमको फाइट करना पड़ेगा, ऐसा मुझे लगता है. अब आप लोग जैसा बताएं.
नहीं, बिल्कुल जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आई वुड, यहाँ से एक सवाल आ रहा जी अश्वती जी कि हाउ डिड यू कम इनटू दिस स्पेस? इसमें कैसे आया आप? व्हाट वाज द रीजन व्हाई यू केम इनटू जो काम जो कर रहा आप? हाउ डिड यू कम इनटू दिस स्पेस?
सर हमारे फादर को आर्थराइटिस था.
अच्छा.
और हमारे गुरुदेव हैं पुरी के शंकराचार्य जी, निश्चलानंद जी महाराज.
अच्छा जी.
उनके पास में गया हुआ था कुंभ में इलाहाबाद.
अच्छा जी.
वहाँ यही BHU के आसपास के कहीं बनारस के कोई वैद्य थे, वो उनको बता रहे थे कि भांग से ये घुटने का दर्द ठीक होता है. उनने तो खैर ऑपरेशन करा लिया गुरुदेव ने हमारे. तो हमने उनसे पूछ के वहीं पे हमने वो ऑयल बनाया और फादर को दिया. उसने काम किया तो इंटरेस्ट जागा. फिर इसके बाद उत्तराखंड जाके लाइसेंस लिया, काम किया. फिर उसके बाद लगातार उसी में लगे. सारा काम धाम बंद करके सिर्फ और सिर्फ भांग के लिए काम कर रहे.
बहुत बढ़िया जी, थैंक यू अश्वती जी, थैंक यू फॉर मेंशनिंग दिस. आई एम हैप्पी आई आस्क्ड दिस क्वेश्चन, और जवाब जो आपने दिया बिल्कुल साफ. थैंक यू जी. Please stay with us, Aswati ji, क्योंकि we are very lucky to have a lot of people staying with us today. The floor is open, but before we give it to our speakers, I want to invite Juneja ji, Piyush ji, agar ho. Piyush ji, namaskar.
Right, sir.
Thank you. Piyush ji, दो चीज, just comment on some things that we heard, और बाकी presentations के ऊपर, और आपके मन में क्या है, आगे कहाँ जानी है इसकी, कहाँ ले जानी है आपके मन में. धन्यवाद.
सबसे पहले सर वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. मेरी यहाँ पे जितने भी एस्टीम स्पीकर्स हैं, पैनलिस्ट हैं, आई थिंक वी हैव ए गुड कम्युनिटी हियर. सबसे पहले हमें ये समझना चाहिए, एक आयुर्वेदा के वैद्या, एक प्रैक्टिशनर के नाते अगर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ आयुष, अगर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आयुष गवर्नमेंट ने एक शेड्यूल E1 का लिस्ट निकाला है, मैं यहाँ पे 2-3 एग्जांपल देके समझाएंगे. इफ दे हैव ऑलरेडी डन दैट इन 2016 और अभी इसका दोबारा से मेंशन आया है, जस्ट इमेजिन in any allopathic pharma company, any pharma company owner or their marketing team placing a sedative, for example alprazolam on digital marketing channel and saying कि आप ये alprazolam खा लीजिए और इससे आपको आज रात को नींद आ जाएगा. Just imagine that in the allopathic system of practice, which is not there, that is not ethical, because that will be prescribed by the doctor with the prescription and with the requirement of the patient. Nobody is supposed to, and all the other sensitive drug, prescription drugs coming under narcotics or whatever like category you want to name. So there is a mechanism of doing the practice, but problem in India in Ayurveda is everybody is getting so excited after getting the approval, forget about other medicines. Schedule E1 medicines are being marketed and promoting directly to the customers, to the patients, to the entire world, entire society through digital marketing, through advertisements, through campaigns, publishing in media. Everywhere they have flourished, nourished, increased the entire footprints and doing fine, which is good. But there has to be some ethical, because the problem here is then in the entire ecosystem, what exactly Ayurveda doctors are doing. My question is, so what is the significance of an Ayurveda doctor, of an Ayurveda Vaidya, if there is a herb which companies are getting license from our respective state authorities, they have the license, they have the manufacturing and marketing rights and all, they are directly marketing to the people, prescription is just a formality. So what is the requirement of an Ayurveda doctor?
Usually there is we have discussed this point, we have discussed this point that there is, Pavanji is also listening to us because he has industry experience. There is a conflict of interest here, that industry would like to make everything over the counter, while we have very specific formulations like what we are discussing now, or rasaushadhis, that must come under special regulation whereby they can only be prescription and they can only be prescribed by at least a MD level Ayurveda physician. Now, this is a difficult fight. Yahan pe thoda conflict of interest, because industry would always like to see the market grow and make everything OTC versus something. This is a difficult regulation. Piyush, now I'm going to ask Jaha Saab just to comment on this, but I will come back to you. Just let me see if Jaha Saab is here with us, because this point about rasaushadhis and these very the poisonous plants. I don't know if Acharya ji is here. If either Jaha Saab, Acharya, Jaha Saab pranam ji.
हेलो,
Jaha Saab pranam ji.
नमस्कार.
Pranam ji.
तो बहुत विस्तार से हम लोगों ने सुना अलग अलग एस्पेक्ट, और सबसे अभी भयावह स्थिति जो बताई जा रही है कि इसकी जो स्पेसीज जिस पर हम लोग चाहे मेडिसिनली या फिर इंडस्ट्री जो भी वर्क, वो खतरे में, तो उसको कैसे बचाया जाए, पर्टिकुलरली मेडिसिनल यूज के लिए जो कैनबिस है. तो एक तो ये है. बाकी सबसे मेन कि इस मंच से सरकार को एक मैसेज जाना चाहिए, और जितने भी आयुर्वेदिक यूजर्स हैं, आयुर्वेदिक प्रैक्टिशनर्स हैं, उनके लिए ये एक फ्रीडम हो कि अपने पेशेंट जहाँ भी वो ट्रीट करना चाहे इस मेडिसिन के द्वारा वो ट्रीट कर सकें. और बाकी बिना मतलब ये उपविष्ट का द्रव्य उपविष्ट वर्ग में है, और जितने भी हमारे विषोप विष हैं, निश्चित रूप से ये सभी एक तरह से आदमी डिपेंडेंट हो सकता है इस पर, और चमत्कारी सारे के सारे हैं ड्रग्स. जहाँ तक मतलब सावधानी यूज करने में रखनी है, तो डोज का बहुत बड़ा है. भांग को यूज करना है 2 से 4 रत्ती की मात्रा में यूज करें, मेडिसिनल इफेक्ट मिलना है. दिक्कत यही होती है कि मार्केट में थोड़ा सा घूम करके देखेंगे तो डोज को एक तरफ कर देते हैं, और वहाँ पे सीधा सा जैसे नशा के लिए यूज करना, ये ज्यादा देखने में आता है। इन चीजों को थोड़ा सा प्रिवेंट करने की जरूरत है, और वही कि अगर प्रिस्क्रिप्शन के ही माध्यम से पेशेंट को अगर अवेलेबल होगा तो शायद इस चीज पर एक तरह से नियंत्रण पाया जा सकेगा। तो यही सारी चीजें हैं। बाकी जो हमारा क्लासिकल लिटरेचर जितना कुछ कहता है इसके बारे में, और जितने डिजीजेस बताए गए हैं, तो वो सब बड़े सफिशिएंट है। बड़ा ही अनुभव लोगों ने किया है इस पर और फिर बताया। और जो विदेशों में जितना जो कुछ काम हो रहा है, और जैसे कैलिफोर्निया ने फ्री कर दिया, उधर कनाडा ने फ्री कर दिया इसको, और जैसा बता रहे हैं कि लीफ और सीड इन दोनों में कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, आरटीआई करके इसको क्लियर भी किया जा चुका है। तो हमें लगता है कि फिर आगे बढ़ना चाहिए इसको यूज करने के लिए मेडिसिन के रूप में, आयुर्वेदिक जो भी मैन्युफैक्चरर हैं उनको। तो मैं इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा कि सरकार को एक मैसेज इस मंच से निश्चित रूप से जाए।
डॉक्टर साहब, शायद आचार्य जी है हमारे साथ थोड़ा। आचार्य जी प्रणाम जी, आपसे थोड़े।
Sir, my concern is, as far as the research is concerned, we are pursuing research. Research should go on cannabis as per the classical guidelines, and as per the availability of the market, because as the drug is being controlled by two authorities, excise and drug controller also. So the other, it is totally different from other Schedule E1 drugs, and it has been controlled by two departments. That's why much the security and all these things is here. But research, we should come up with evidence, research evidence, so that we can prove before the government that this drug is effective in classified dose and must be prescribed through prescriptions, all these things. That's my point.
Thank you ji. Acharya ji, I just wanted to make a comment here कि हमारी the point I made कि try to make some collaborations with research teams around the world who are already working in this space. So I want to highlight एक छोटा सा example जी। यहाँ कनाडा में वैंकूवर में एक है हमारी प्रोफेसर साहब उजेंद्र कुमार जी, और उनकी टीम के काफी कुछ काम है जी इसके ऊपर, कैनाबिनॉइड्स एंड सीबीआर रिसेप्टर जो हम डीएनए वाले, we are excited with the receptors for these chemicals in the human body and how they work. Us taraf, I think India is in a slight disadvantage when we have to do that kind of research in the cannabinoid area, when there is already a lot of work going on in other locations in the world. यहाँ पे ये देखो जी, एक है पेपर इनकी, उजेंद्र कुमार जी है वहाँ यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ ब्रिटिश कोलंबिया में। अब इनकी 2018 की पेपर है जी, cannabinoid receptors and the signaling system. अब this level of clarity is available already, ठीक है ना जी। अब how to make CCRAs जो आप जो कर रहा कि NCI के साथ जो काम जो चल रहा, why can't we have something like this together with Canada? We have germplasm, which is very special. Cannabis indica is there in us. And we have a technology for Shodhana, which is very, very unique. While Canada has this very deep understanding of the molecular pharmacology of cannabinoids and their receptors, etc. So I put this in our chat box. So a request is how to connect with people like Ujendra ji, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science, at the very big research center, वहाँ पे पूरा चल रहा Center for Brain Health करके. It is a very easy connection to make. Cancer के ऊपर चल रहा NCI के साथ, क्यों नहीं इनके साथ कुछ इस टाइप का चीज, so that we get a global collaboration between institutions.
Thank you, Madan ji, for this your initiatives, and CCRS is open. And
Thank you.
if some research proposals, because always we are doing our level at national level, but if some internationally, some research organizations or some persons comes over and have a research on this pertaining to Ayush guidelines, then they are most welcome. Just we are now also working with for cancer research with America, USA organizations on ashwagandha, and also it is open now. Ministry is open now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We will take Acharya will take this up, and we will come back to you. Canada logon ke saath we'll discuss this and come back to you. Thank you for happy that I could share this, but thank you for showing willingness to collaborate here. जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. पीयूष जी शायद आपके तरफ से कुछ और हो. We will take this. पीयूष जी नमस्कार. Otherwise, I want to Piyush ji, namaskar. Thank you.
Bas sir, I think that is fine. I think Dr. Acharya has also mentioned the I think institute, the organization he is heading. So they're very serious about the research, and the only request we want to make to our council and to our ministry is, let's create a positive ecosystem around this. Let's give the confidence to our fellow Ayurveda practitioners and Vaidyas that they have been empowered by the Ministry of Ayush, by our National Council of Indian System of Medicine and other bodies, that all the Ayurveda doctors and Vaidyas are being empowered. Any circular, I think there are some confusions. So the final thing is, any circular or any maybe clarification about the practice of medical cannabis under the Ayurveda domain should be there, so that it will be circulated and disseminated to the entire Ayurveda Vaidya community. We have lakhs of Ayurveda doctors and Vaidyas practicing in India right now. And if we do a structured way of getting the data, so that will be there. But the problem here is doctors are scared, Vaidyas are scared, they are very much confused that if they can practice this or not. So technically, being an Ayurveda classical or proprietary medicine, still doctors are confused, scared, and sometimes being harassed by the authorities if they are practicing medical cannabis. That is only concern which we want to raise here, and request the concerned bodies to please clarify and support us to create a positive ecosystem for practicing medical cannabis under Ayurveda.
Thank you, Ji. Piyush Ji, could you request Ji, could you put your contact details? I know you showed it in the first slide. Thoda chat box mein agar dalein, so people can keep in touch with you about this thing.
Let me clarify. Pawanji is here. He's having long experience with pharma companies. Can any circular of Government of India debar any Ayurveda practitioners of practicing Ayurveda drugs containing bhanga? Nobody debarred. Nobody debars anyone. Do classical practice of Ayurveda with a own pipe. Nobody debars. But if you are doing at a commercialization in the name of bhanga and mass, all these things, that comes under separate thing. But no law debars as on today to practice Ayurveda physicians prescribing bhanga.
Right.
My knowledge is concerned. I may be wrong.
Acharya ji, isme ek hi samasya hai ji, that there is so much diversity in plant material. Jo Sachin Awasthi ji ne jo bataya, there is too much diversity in plant material. Uski standardization koi hai nahi ji. I think your point is taken, that there is nothing, nobody is stopping from individual Vaidya perhaps to use these formulations, prepare them and use them locally. But the scale up nahi aayega ji usme. Ek to diversity in plant types, and it becomes a distraction for many people, and the quality control becomes difficult, etc. I don't know if you agree with me. Acharya ji,
yes, sir. Quality control, that quality materials is different. But as far as in the name of Ayurveda, the drug bhanga and pharmacopoeia of India, Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia correlates cannabis sativa as the botanical equivalent. There is nothing doubt about that.
Piyush ji, I don't know if this satisfies your Acharya ji kara ki as long Vaidya is permitted to use this, you know.
No, actually, there's confusion, sir, around this. See, actually, the problem here is, again, I repeat, and let me maybe clarify. Sorry if I was not able to clarify. So there is a term known as medical cannabis. Now, this term medical cannabis is being marketed and promoted by all the companies who are getting approval from state Ayurveda bodies that they are the medical cannabis companies. They are selling medical cannabis medicines directly to the people. All the non-Ayurveda doctors are being positioned as medical cannabis practitioners in our country. And Ayurveda doctors are being told not to position themselves as medical cannabis practitioners. That is the only issue which we need the clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. I don't know who would like to respond to this. Shayad Acharya Ji can respond. Acharya Ji, namaskar. This is very
no,
important.
sir, I am not updated about this, what medical cannabis and how to practice. Non-Ayurvedic people are doing this practice. I am not aware. I am not in a position to answer.
Thank you, Ji. So, Piyush Ji, I don't know if you want to respond to this one. Thoda sa,
No problem, sir. I am all like we are already in discussion, and maybe let's hope that we will get a clarification.
Clarification. Thank you, Ji. Thank you. But your point is taken about this large-scale marketing of medical cannabis, and then some conflict there between how the Vaidya, who's Ayurveda practitioner, how that message gets mixed up. You know, there's a little bit of thoda sa mix up hai is message ke. I agree with you. We'll take this as a very important point here as an outcome of today's discussion, this mix up. Now, thank you for highlighting this, a very subtle point, but a very, very important point. Shayad Naveen, हमारे साथ है जी नवीन गुप्ता जी लंदन से. नवीन जी नमस्कार. अगर आपकी तरफ से कुछ हो, please.
Normally, I would like to listen to all the speakers, and because it's such a wonderful subject.
We can come back to you, Naveen ji, if you still want to listen to some more comments, because there are some comments from Gogia ji in Delhi, Ravi ji Gogia ji in Delhi. He has raised some questions here, dosage, etc., etc. Would you like to wait and then come back? Or?
I would like to, in fact, I would like to speak for 2 minutes, then I would like to leave and then hear this on YouTube.
Thank you.
So then I will just take 2 minutes. Madani, thank you very much for putting me. There is I was practicing in Netherlands for 20 years, and there was a special law, even for the allopathic doctors, about cannabis. And there was a special position of a doctor, like you are a physician or you're a surgeon, you're a psychiatrist. It used to be called verslaving arts. I'm using Dutch now because I speak good Dutch because of my Netherlands practice. Verslaving arts means a doctor of de-addiction. So only a de-addiction doctor was allowed to practice so many medications, which even a normal psychiatrist was not allowed, because normal psychiatrist or any other doctor does not know the limits of practicing medicine as far as the narcotic substances are concerned. But one of the verslaving arts, probably the most best one in the whole Netherlands, he was my Ayurvedic students. That's why I know many things in detail about it. And so in one way, we can propose to the government of India, especially the Ayush department, that they can open a chapter in the Ayurvedic medicine, medical practitioner directory, that one section of people in the Ayurvedic medicine are specialists, as I said, about verslaving arts, which you will not understand. I know that because it is a total Dutch. So in English, again, I repeat it, it's called de-addiction doctor. So if we can have a branch of Ayurvedic medicine practitioners in India, which is in subsection mentioning about de-addiction Ayurvedic physician, and then the whole chapter, if it becomes a law by parliament, and then the whole chapter is completely clear. And from these practitioners, the cultivation and everything in detail can be solved as medical cannabis. So with these words, I would like to stop now because I'm not an expert on this subject.
Navinji, thank you very much for raising that point of specialization as a way to solve this problem. And that we must have, so not only Rasha Shastra or Rasavaidya, but you are saying usko or specialize karo.
Exactly. You see, like we have a branch. I will just take half a minute because I think you are in a hurry to let me off. which should not be the case because everybody should be free to talk. But anyway, I'll be finishing very fast. So like you have Marma Vedya, Nadi Vedya, Siddha Vedya. So there are super specialty or super, I will not say super specialty. I mean, it's separate branch. So a kind of a Manas Vedya can be proposed, or Manas Swasthya Vedya can be proposed, or super specialist de-addiction Vedya could be proposed. So that could be a proposal which we can send from, because I as a European national, I cannot do anything for Government of India to make a proposal because I'm not a resident in India now.
So sorry, I'm going to cut you short here. Just to we take your point. थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में बताना जी, वो शब्द जो आपने प्रयोग किया डच में, थोड़ा चैट बॉक्स में डाल दीजिए.
उसको चैट बॉक्स में डाल के फिर मैं इस मीटिंग को एंड करने की कोशिश करूंगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर.
थैंक यू जी. नहीं, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, योर पॉइंट अबाउट wanting that specialization.
मैं वो आपको स्पेशल वर्ड्स दूंगा, डच में दूंगा, और आप सब उसको गूगल कर सकते हैं. फिर मैं इंग्लिश बनाने की कोशिश करूंगा.
नहीं, जो आपने जो बताया पॉइंट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वो स्पेशलाइजेशन
और ये लीगलाइज हो सकता है. और आपको मैं बताऊं, मैं हॉलैंड की बात कर रहा हूँ. और मदन जी, आपको भी, आप कैम्ब्रिज में हो तब भी आपको एक बात बताया हूँ, चाहे कैलिफोर्निया में चाहे कहीं भी हो, जो हॉलैंड ने किया बहुत चीजों में इनिशिएशन सबसे पहला सारे वर्ल्ड में, वो किसी दूसरी कंट्री ने नहीं किया.
बहुत बढ़िया जी.
50 ऐसी चीज बता सकता हूँ. नेविगेशन सिस्टम हॉलैंड ने दिया है. मैं बता सकता हूँ 50 ऐसी चीजें जो हॉलैंड ने सबसे पहले दी सारे वर्ल्ड को. उसमें से एक ये भी है.
I'll put it on chat box.
I'll put it on chat box. Thank you. Namaste to everybody.
बहुत धन्यवाद जी. This very valuable point you have given us here. Thank you for highlighting this. Piyush ji, this is one possibility. There is a tension, and resolving that tension might come from a new way of thinking. Jo Naveen ji ne jo bataya ba Netherlands wale, where you have a specialization, and that specialization only they are permitted to use certain drugs. Is that something that is a point we can take forward? I think this is left to everybody here in the platform. I want to bring Ravi Gogia ji, Delhi se. Ravi ji, namaskar, pranam ji. आपके 3-4 सवाल है जी चैट बॉक्स में.
नमस्कार सर.
नमस्कार जी. नमस्कार, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
I have few questions. I would like to have this question response from this dais, because this is the appropriate dais from which I can have a best answer. Firstly, I would like to ask from Dr. Ravi, as per Dr. Ravi Narayan Tripathi, Ravi Narayan Acharya ji and Dr. C.B. Jha, therapeutic dose of bhang is, as per Dr. C.B. Jha, he says that it should be 125 milligram twice a day. But as per Dr. Ravi Narayan Acharya ji, he is telling that it should be 250 milligram twice a day.
एक मिनट जी, let us listen. Jha sahab, let us just listen to the question.
2 से 4 रत्ती भांग का मेडिसिनल डोज लिया जा सकता है. 2 to 4 रत्ती. 2 to 4 रत्ती means 1 rati equivalent to 120 milligram, and 2 rati means approximate 240 or 250 milligram to 500 milligram. In this quantity, we can use therapeutically.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir, in Kameshan Modak, that is being prepared by Hemp City, that is containing bhang is equivalent to 1 gram per pouch. So is it not more than therapeutic dose? I would like to ask one question.
Certainly, it is more than therapeutic dose.
So why it is being given more doses? Because it can create toxicity also.
It cannot be allowed, this dose.
Okay. It should not be given. Second thing.
Dr. Ravi, what Professor Jha told, the recommended dose by pharmacopoeia is say 250. Ayurvedic pharmacopoeias are 250 to 500, 2 to 4 rati, and 125, 250 to 500 milligram. Okay. To start with the research, knowing the adverse effect of bhanga, we have taken the lowest dose, that is 250. And to surprise the ethics committee that our research is, we are taking the lowest dose, taking the precautions, and we got good result in the lowest dose also, 250 milligram. The dose is higher, recommended dose is up to 500. And again, Ayurveda also tells it is disease specific. The indications of Madanananda Modaka, each of Kamodipaka. There may higher dose may be taken for therapy that purpose of aphrodisiac activities, and that way that may be. This is again another thing. Indications wise, a physician can advise higher dose also. Some doses, and then no here Ayurveda recommends a particular dose. It is again indication disease wise, prakriti wise, desha, kala, bala, by all these things.
Okay.
So here dose is not at all a matter, sir.
Okay, sir. What is the toxic dose of bhang? How much dose can create toxic effect in male?
The toxic reported. It is being reported. I couldn't recollect immediately, but it is reported. The toxic effect has been reported. But the therapeutic dose is after Sodhana. Therapeutic dose after Sodhana is 250 to 500 milligram.
Sir, if we are using for the sake of aphrodisiac, that means that can be given 1 gram can be given.
Again, that is specific, but nowhere if it is provided 1 gram, how it is 1 gram calculated? You calculated, sir, in the Madanananda Modaka?
Also 250 to 500 milligram is enough. It is sufficient.
How you calculated, sir, to 1 gram in Madanananda Modaka in a single dose?
Sir, it is mentioned over there that a pouch is having demarcation that one pouch is containing 1 gram per pouch. Total 5 gram is there. Total content of this pouch is 5 gram and 1 gram bhang is there. Written over
so
there.
It is not, we have to cross check it, how the pharmacy person, you have to, it be cross checked. I am not updated till now with the documents, but I can say in confirmation in this. I can't say now.
Okay.
We have to check,
Okay,
check,
sir.
check the reference book.
Sir, my other question is that
मदनानंद मोदक से उसको कंपेयर करेंगे तो वो क्लासिकल मदनानंद मोदक जैसा है ही नहीं है. क्लासिकल मदनानंद मोदक इज डिफरेंट. ये भी मैं कहना चाहूंगा. आप तो उसको चाहे तो कंपेयर करें, देखें उनके क्या क्या इंग्रेडिएंट्स हैं और जो क्लासिकल है उसमें क्या क्या इंग्रेडिएंट्स हैं.
Thank you, ji. Thank you.
Sir, second question है, because bhang, any classical product having bhang, that whether it can be given to hypertensive patient or coronary artery disease patient, because bhang creates tachycardia also. Is it safe to give to all hypertensive patient or not?
What you are referring regarding the drug Madanananda Modaka, nowhere it is being prescribed in a pouch form, in a single dose.
Sir, this is not Madanananda, this is Kameshwar Modak.
Kameshwar Modak also, if the classical reference we have to cross check.
Modak is also.
We have to cross check. We have to cross check. Without document, we can't comment on here in the webinar. We can't comment.
Sir, Kameshwar Modak that is available in market or that is available through Hemp Street, that is in pouch form. So I would like to ask whether it is safe to give to hypertensive patient or not, because it creates tachycardia. So is it safe or not? This is my question, sir.
Raviji, I think your question is related to manufactured formulation. I think what Jasab and what Acharya ji are saying is the theory behind this. So we have to look specifically at the manufacturer of the product, where it is coming from, उसके अंदर एक्टिव इंग्रेडिएंट क्या है जी. शायद this is my interpretation कि आपके सवाल is coming purely from the manufactured product side, you know. So you will have to tell us कि कौन बनाया ये चीज, मुल्तानी or whoever has made this product, पता नहीं. So
सर नहीं, आप ये छोड़ दीजिए, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग डिफेक्ट छोड़ दीजिए, कौन बना रहा है. ये मैं पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि भांग वाले प्रोडक्ट हम किसी पेशेंट को दे सकते हैं कि नहीं, जैसे हाइपरटेंसिव पेशेंट को दे सकते हैं कि नहीं. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग चाहे कोई भी करे, भांग का ये क्वालिटी है कि दैट रिलीव हार्ट रेट,
ब्लड प्रेशर.
क्योंकि सर वृक्ष जितने भी योग हैं, आइदर इट इज हैविंग अफीम और भांग, तो बीपी को रेज करते हैं. स्पेशली जितने भी वायग्रा टाइप की मेडिसिन है उसमें लिखा होता है दिस शुड नॉट बी गिवन टू पेशेंट ऑफ कार्डिक पेशेंट. स्पेशली हमारे यहाँ ऐसा कुछ है तो मेंशन कि हमें इन पेशेंट को नहीं देना चाहिए.
समझ गया. थैंक यू.
हमें लगता है कि इस तरह का वैसे बहुत ज्यादा किसी ने रिसर्च की दृष्टि से तो नहीं किया है, लेकिन चूंकि भांग थोड़ा सा सेडेटिव इफेक्ट करता है, तो जिस मेडिसिन की मात्रा में हम देने की थेरेपेटिक डोज की हम बात कर रहे हैं, उसमें शायद ये हाइपरटेंसिव नहीं होगा.
समझ गया. Thank you जी. Jha sahab, thank you. Okay, thank Ravi ji. Please continue. आपके does it satisfy आपके? I don't know. Jha sahab कह रहा है कि not much research has gone into this space. So your question is.
सर मेरा एक पर्सन एक जैसे मेरा कहने का मतलब जैसे सिद्ध मकरद हो जाए, इट शुड नॉट बी गिवन पेशेंट और हाइपरटेंसिव पेशेंट नहीं देना चाहिए हमारे को, क्योंकि इससे बीपी रेल हो जाता है. बट इन केस ऑफ, मैंने जो पढ़ा एक बुक में कि इन केस ऑफ पर्सन इज हैविंग हाइपरटेंशन एंड ही इज हैविंग ईडी आल्सो, प्रीमेच्योर इजैकुलेशन आल्सो, हाउ विल combat, how will you treat that patient for the sake of this sexual disorder? We can give Rasraj Ras with Giloy Sattva or something else, Giloy Sattva and Parval Pishti. But in this case, Kameshwar Modak, which medicine can be added in order to just reduce the side effect of tachycardia, because tachycardia is a side effect of bhang.
Ravi ji, your question is noted. We will come back to this question. You have one or two more questions, Ravi ji. Just for the sake of time, let us take this forward so that we use the time effectively.
Without taking bhanga, also there will be the possibility of tachycardia.
Haan ji. We take your, Ravi ji, we proceed with your questions just for the sake of time. We will continue and then we come back to this one.
Everything has been covered. Nothing to ask now.
Thank you, Ravi ji. Your questions are very important because it is your questions are coming from the clinician's perspective.
Yeah. This is my clinician side, sir.
Clinician's request. So these are very important and very specialized questions. And I think we will leave it for the moment. We will leave it open, Ravi ji. Thoda sa let people think about.
I would like to have only 30 seconds because in each and every drug, allopathic medicine, they have written over there special precautions, side effects. It should not be used, contraindication, but it should be written over aphrodisiac medicine that it should not be given to those people having hypertension. It should not be. There should be some precaution written over there.
Yes,
this is my simple request.
Thank you, ji. Ravi ji, I think we'll come to this point. It's a very important point because we are looking at different aspects of this whole thing. We have a wide spectrum of needs that we are looking at, but we will come back to this point, see, about correct use and precautions. I think this is important. Thank you, Ravi ji.
Thank you, Ravi ji. Thank you.
Shayad Pavan ji.
Thank you very much.
Shayad
Now
Pavan ji
time is over and all speakers are left. So please, Madan ji, in brief, because I have to leave Calcutta tomorrow morning for Delhi, early morning.
Now, Pavanji, there is number one.
Please conclude in brief.
Okay, thank you so much. You have brought a lot of people together. The one important point.
We can invite each and every person, but one at a time. One at a time.
Let me, if I could just quickly conclude. Number one, I want to thank all our speakers for joining us today and all our participants who have shared questions. I want to thank Ravi Ugia ji. I want to thank Avasti ji. Thank you for joining us today, Avasti ji, and sharing your details here with us. Number two, in terms of outcomes, what is coming through very clearly is a wonderful recommendation made by Naveen Gupta ji, which is the Ministry of Ayush Government of India should request the state governments to develop MD level or postgraduate diploma level in specific courses on Manas Swasthya or super specialty courses on Chikitsa and create a register of super specialists who are allowed to prescribe classical Ayurveda psychotropic formulations. And these are the doctors who will also be inspecting the cultivation standards, etc. So thank you to Naveen ji for crystallizing a very, very important outcomes. So with those few words, Pavan ji, I'm going to conclude my part. Thank you all. Thank you, number one, to yourself for bringing so many people. Thanks to Acharya ji for being with us and listening to what we had to offer today, some very valuable points. Discussions about germplasm, biodiversity, discussions about molecular pharmacology, potential for interacting with other researchers in other parts of the world, particularly in Canada. And Jasab, thank you for guiding us with your words of wisdom. And everybody who's been here. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Pawan ji, I know you are busy taking a message to New Delhi. Hopefully, outcome of these discussions. I leave the floor to you now. Pawan ji, thank you again. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to invite any person who has not spoken till now, if anything want to add in this session. Otherwise, Professor V.K. Agnihotri, sir, to conclude the session. If anyone want to add anything creative, positive, and knowledge sharing regarding cannabis only, so on the topic, if anyone want to add anything, you are most welcome.
I want, Pavanji, I would like a few words from Rao Saab, from who was one of our speakers. His presentation was excellent. Rao Saab, namaskar. Want to hear your final comments on this thing. And there we are. Before we give the floor back, if Rao Saab.
Sir, namaste, sir.
Namaste, Rao Saab. Thank you.
Sir, I could add one point which I missed in my presentation about bhang. After referring all the Ayurvedic material, I could find a substitute, very fine substitute for bhang, which is seed of ahipena, cuscus seeds. So the cuscus seeds is a very good substitute for bhang. Whoever could not procure bhang, this can be a very good substitute. After observing the qualities of bhang and ahipena, we can really appreciate the seed of poppy. Poppy seeds is a fine substitute for this.
Thank you, Rao Saab. And I want to see one more comment from Pandeji. Pandeji, Pranamji. You have put a very valuable point here that PG course in Manas Rog is already as a specialty by NCISM. Earlier it was under Kaya Chikitsa. पांडे जी प्रणाम जी.
प्रणाम सर.
आपकी ये जो नवीन जी ने जो बताया जी बात, उसके ऊपर वो स्पेशलाइजेशन वाली बात. और दूसरी चीज डॉक्टर साहब, इसमें ये जो ओवर द काउंटर वाली चीज जो पीयूष जी ने जो बताया, उठाया बात, उसके ऊपर आप थोड़ा सा अगर आप बताएं जी. This is the difficulty between मेडिकल कैनबिस एंड आयुष की वो इंटरफेस में कुछ है जी थोड़ा सा.
So फर्स्ट थिंग तो मानस रोग की बात आ रही थी अभी, जैसे नवीन जी ने कही, तो मानस रोग तो बहुत समय से काय चिकित्सा में रहा है और अभी उसको एक सेपरेट स्पेशलिटी बना दिया गया मानस रोग को. तो ये क्वेश्चन तो सबको पता है, एनसीआईएसएम ने इसको एज ए स्पेशल सब्जेक्ट बना दिया पीजी कोर्स में. डिप्लोमा कोर्सेज भी कुछ शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्सेज लोग डिजाइन करके चला रहे हैं, लेकिन खाली मानस रोग कहने से ही नहीं हो जाता. देयर आर अदर एलिमेंट्स व्हिच कैन बी टेकन फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट. और जैसे अभी ट्रॉमा इंड्यूस्ड स्पाज्म है, वो मानस रोग में नहीं आता है, बट कैनबिस क्योर करता है. बहुत सारे इनक्यूरेबल डिसऑर्डर्स है, ज्वाइंट डिसऑर्डर्स है, वो मानस रोग में नहीं आते हैं, बट रूमेटॉइड आर्थराइटिस में आते हैं, तो उसमें भी हम कैनबिस को यूज कर सकते हैं. जीआई प्रॉब्लम्स है, यूरोजेनिटल्स है, न्यूरोलॉजिकल्स है, सीजर्स है, स्किज़ोफ्रेनिया, पार्किंसोनिज्म है. देयर आर सो मेनी एंड दैट आर नॉट अंडर द हेडिंग ऑफ मानस रोग. सो बहुत सारा स्कोप है इसको यूज करने का, बट बेसिक थिंग ये सर कि जैसे झा सर ने बोला अभी कि 2 से 4 रत्ती हमको यूज करना चाहिए प्यूरिफाइड फॉर्म में, हमारे जो भी कंपाउंड है उसको देखते हुए. और जहाँ तक सर
डॉक्टर साहब, इसमें वो पॉइंट, वो पीयूष जी ने जो उठाया पॉइंट जी, दैट देयर इज अ टेंशन हियर, वो मेडिकल कैनबिस वर्सेस द प्योरली आयुर्वेदिक अप्रोच, यू नो, शोधन एक्सेट्रा करके.
मेडिकल कैनबिस में जैसे एसटीएच के बारे में, अभी वो टीएसएच के बारे में बोल रहे थे कि ट्राईहाइड्रो कैनाबिनॉल और CB1, CB2 और बहुत सारे फाइटो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं इसके बारे में. और कैनाबिनॉइड्स जो निकलते हैं वो बॉडी में बहुत सारे हमारे लिम्बिक सिस्टम है, ब्रेन सिस्टम्स है, उनके साथ रिसेप्टर सिस्टम पे ले जाते हैं। जब हम आयुर्वेदिक फार्मुलेशंस की बात करते हैं तो आई यूज टू टॉक ओनली ऑन द आयुर्वेदिक फार्मुलेशन एंड प्योर ड्रग इन द procured from the purification, after purification. मैं उस पे बात करता हूँ, मैं रिसेप्टर पे बात नहीं करता हूँ कि कोई रिसेप्टर आयुर्वेद नहीं मानता है। अब जब आयुर्वेदिक फॉर्मुलेशन की आप बात करते हैं तो हमारी बहुत सारी ड्रग्स है जो आफ्टर प्यूरिफिकेशन इन साइंटिफिक मेथड्स डिस्क्राइब्ड इन द टेक्स्ट ऑफ रसशास्त्र, हमको उसके हिसाब से जाना चाहिए। और उनकी प्यूरिफिकेशन के बाद इंटरमीडिएट कंपाउंड जो बनते हैं उनकी एनालिसिस आप कुछ भी करो, बट ये देखिए कि आपके प्यूरिफिकेशन के बाद जो उसके बाय प्रोडक्ट्स निकल रहे हैं उनमें क्या टॉक्सिसिटी है जो उससे रिजेंबल करती है, और उसके बाद जो हमारा प्योर फार्म निकलता है उनको हम मेडिकल कैनाबिस के रूप में यूज करने की परमिशन मिलनी चाहिए, और वो भी स्पेसिफिक डोज में। मेरा ये सबमिशन है सर। और जब रिसेप्टर्स की बात करते तो अभी कैनाबिनॉल्स के ही बताते हैं 150 कैनाबिनॉल्स निकलते हैं, मोर देन दैट।
बिल्कुल जी।
तो उसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे, अब फिर क्वेश्चन ये उठता है कि हम किस एरिया के कैनाबिस से इकट्ठा करेंगे।
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल।
इंडिका लेंगे, सिटेवा लेंगे, और फिर उसमें जो हमको प्रोक्योर हो रही है वहां से गवर्नमेंट से या कहीं से, तो क्या उसमें मैरीगोल्ड की लीफ मिली है, अडल्ट्रेशन कितना है, एक एक पत्ती तो आप ट्रेस नहीं करोगे। तब उसके अंदर जब आप उसके अल्कलाइड्स और फिनॉल्स निकालोगे तो क्या उसके अंदर वो चीज रहेगी जो हम चाहते हैं, या जो निकल के आ रहा है वो उसको प्रूव करता है कि अभी तो 150 निकल रहा है, उसके बाद निकलेगा कि वो 70 है। मैं एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ, मैंने अपने पीजी में 90 में मैंने बिथानिया पे काम किया था, और जब मैंने बिथानिया मंगाया मैंने रानी को वहां से नागौर से, और उसके बाद यहाँ से मैंने 4 सैंपल लिए। उस टाइम पे मेडिसिनल केमिस्ट्री डिपार्टमेंट में एक स्कॉलर थे MLI राजन करके, पीएचडी सिंपल इस पे कर रहा था कि डिफरेंट जोन की बिथेनिया में कितने ये अल्कलाइड्स मिलते हैं, और मेरा जो आयुर्वेदिक पद्धति से बनाया था उसमें 4 विथेनोलाइड्स मिले थे। अब आप सोचो कि जो वो कर रहा तो किसी में 1 मिल रहा था, किसी में 2 मिल रहा था। तो हमारे यहाँ जो टेक्स्ट में बताया कि इस देश की औषधि होगी उसमें ये प्रॉपर्टीज मिलेगी, वो ज्यादा इफेक्टिव होगी, तो हमें इसको भी सोचना होगा। अगर मेडिसिनल हम कैनाबिस को यूज कर रहे हैं तो हमें ये देखना होगा कि कैनाबिस कहाँ की है, और फिर बॉटनी वालों से उसकी वैलिडेशन, जैसे आपने कहा कि ड्रग वैलिडेशन होना चाहिए, तो ठीक है वैलिडेशन। लेकिन जब आप बल्क में यूज करेंगे, फैक्ट्री में यूज करेंगे, कमर्शलाइज करेंगे, किसी कंपनी से यूज कराएंगे, तो वो तो बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा। खासकर अडल्ट्रेशन को आप रोक नहीं सकते हैं, क्योंकि 15 रुपए किलो में मिलने वाली चीज को जब इतने बेचेगा, प्रोक्योर करके वो बनाएगा तो अपने सारे खर्च निकालेगा, उसमें अडल्ट्रेशन कर देगा। तो रिसर्च बेस अगर आप करना चाहते हैं तो पहली चीज तो ये है कि आप उसको प्योरली जो जैसा है उसके एक एक पत्ती को आइडेंटिफाई करिए, थोड़ा अमाउंट लीजिए और ओरिजिनल लीजिए, ओरिजिनल को प्योरीफाई करिए, इंटरमीडिएट कंपाउंड की एनालिसिस करिए, जो उसके वेस्ट निकलते हैं उसको एनालाइज करिए, फिर आप बताइए कि हमारा जो बताया गया सही है। अब ये गवर्नमेंट का काम है कि वो प्योर देता है कि वो अडल्टरेटेड देता है।
थैंक यू जी। पांडे जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आई एम गोइंग टू गिव बहुत final thank you to everybody, and I give the floor back to Pavan ji. There is a hand raise, Pavan ji, there is a hand raise from Ravi Gogia ji.
एक मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन है, छोटा सा क्वेश्चन है।
Ravi ji, kindly have mercy on me because I have to leave Calcutta.
सर ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर आप ही दे सकते हैं और कोई देगा नहीं, 30 सेकंड का क्वेश्चन है सर।
बोल दीजिए।
क्वेश्चन ये है कि तो कब तक हम, हाउ लॉन्ग वी कैन यूज भांग फॉर सेफ्टी प्रोफाइल, कब तक हम यूज कर सकते हैं? जैसे कॉन्टिन्यूस अगर किसी पेशेंट को एपिडोक्सिया के लिए देना है तो कितने दिन लगातार दे सकते हैं कि साइड इफेक्ट ना हो, एडिक्शन ना हो? ये मेरा क्वेश्चन है।
मैंने 30 साल भांग लेते हुए लोग देखे हैं साहब, 30 years continuous as addiction but on working, and there is no any disease, so that is not fatal dose I hope, but Piyush ji can give better answer.
एक चीज मैं फोरम को बता दूं, मैंने ये कैनाबिस की जो टॉक्सिसिटी है उसको कैनाबिस की रूट से दूर करते देखा है। उसी प्लांट की रूट का जूस पिला दो, कैनाबिस की टॉक्सिसिटी दूर हो जाती है।
अच्छा जी,
एक्सीलेंट एक्सीलेंट।
पांडे जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जी, थैंक यू फॉर हाईलाइटिंग सो मेनी वंडरफुल पॉइंट्स। गोगिया जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। Rao साहब बहुत बहुत thank you very much, very important point, opium seeds of poppy as a substitute for thank you for mentioning this. And Madhuji, बहुत धन्यवाद. Very important
Thank you,
point.
sir. Sir, I want to say something. There is a
ਹਾਂਜੀ,
youngest
please.
participant named Soumya Sharma. Maybe
So-
she want to.
Soumya, please unmute and we would like to hear from you. Soumya ji, namaskar.
नमस्कार सर, मुझे अच्छा लगा आज पहली बार मैंने मीटिंग ज्वाइन की है, बहुत कुछ
बहुत-
सीखने को मिला।
आप कहाँ हो आज? हरिद्वार में?
हरिद्वार में गुरुकुल है ना, गुरुकुल यूनिवर्सिटी।
अच्छा जी, बहुत धन्यवाद.
ये मुझे
Good.
मधु मैम की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ पर ज्वाइन कर पाई हूँ। मैम ने शेयर की थी ग्रुप में, तो मैं
सौम्या
उनका
जी,
बहुत
हमारी
धन्यवाद
तरफ से
करना चाहती हूँ।
निवेदन है कि जोड़ते रहिए. You are the young generation. We need people like you to be here with us. Maybe please also connect with Agnihotri ji. आपकी नजदीकी है Agnihotri ji. Please discuss how to look at this economic botany side. बहुत बड़ा. We have discussed today only one plant. There are at least 7,000 plants described in different texts, and at least 1,500 to 1,000, maybe 2,000 plants that are routinely used in Ayurveda. And we need
Very
young
right.
people. We need young people like you to help us take. ये देखो, खाली एक species के ऊपर जो चर्चा चल रहा है और इतनी confusion. But this is a special one. But we want young people like you to join us and grow this platform. So Soumya ji, बहुत धन्यवाद. If there is anything else you would like to say, please use this platform. Tell us your wish for the future. We want young people to look at this economic botany aspect with some seriousness. जो मधु जी ने जो बताया जी.
Thank
Soumya
you,
ji.
sir. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
sir.
Pawan ji. Thank you,
very
Soumya.
much,
Thank
sir.
you. बहुत धन्यवाद, Pawan ji.
So now I would like to request Professor V.K. Agnihotri, sir, former head of the Department of Swasthya, Uttarakhand Ayurveda University. Welcome, sir. Welcome. I am
Thank
sorry
you.
I am interrupting at each and every step, but it is also truth that we are beyond time. Actually, our webinar's time is 8 p.m. Then also we are crossing our limits to 9 p.m. generally.
And we are
But
reaching-
today I have to leave Calcutta early morning for Delhi. So it is my humble request. I am sorry that I have interrupted. I am extremely sorry. It should not be my daring in front of Madan sir. He is my guide,
Hello.
mentor, everything. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Agnihotri,
Pawan ji.
sir.
नमस्कार, थैंक यू डॉक्टर पवन शर्मा जी. नमस्कार प्रोफेसर मदन जी. आप ऐसा नहीं बोलिए, आप भूल रहे हैं कि आप परसों तो हमने 15 past 11 तक आपकी वेबिनार कंटिन्यू की थी, दो इट वाज स्टार्टेड एट 8 p.m. So nothing doing when the academicians
मैं सो गया था, sir.
when the academicians meet together,
We like to discuss.
time itself is
Disappear.
of no value. Anyway, the first reference, first pleasure is this, that at least Dr. Pawan Sharma ji might be pleased enough that this is cannabis, which is being seen by almost everybody, those the guest speakers and the spectators and listeners. As you used to say that Gorochan, Kasturi, and which one? Gorochan, Kasturi, and Amber. These things are rare to see. So at least cannabis, one thing is which has been seen by everybody. Now, other thing is that Professor C.B. Jha sir, Guruji, made very clear that up to 4 Ratti, it is almost reaching to 500 milligram, is a therapeutic medical dose of cannabis at its safest dose for whom it is indicated. Dr. Ravi Gogia ji is talking about repeatedly that what may be the fatal dose or what may be the dose which can lead to addiction. I don't know whether I should mention it or not, but with all due honor and respect, our Professor B.N. Parashar ji, who is well-known surgeon, orthopedic surgeon, did a HPA from Jamnagar in a very early time, used to take this Banca-Gola, and then he started doing the reduction, may it be femur head, may it be humerus head. It was in practice. Everybody knows that he used to take, and never been seen him under any addiction. So this was the at least this thing. And moreover, why only cannabis? when we are using all these Mahavish and Upvish in a purified form, that too in a medicinal use, we are all started talking about tachycardia, hypertension, restlessness, or sedation. So many central nervous system symptoms may be there. But the thing is, who is supposed to take it? If a healthy person is taking for a matter of enjoyment or relaxation, that's a different issue. The bhang theka are there to provide them that thing. And if a person is taking as per the medical indication, he will only use the recommended quantity used in either Madanan Modak or any of the preparation. This is one thing. But I am very sorry that I could not attend the whole seminar, as I was very much busy right from the very early in our Agni Vyapar International Conference in our Nishun College. And Professor Prajapati ji and all.
Agnihotra ji, apologies. There is some background noise. Apologies for this. Hanji, please.
So our Professor Prajapati ji, Professor P.N. Sinha Sahab, and Professor Chandola ji, so many galaxy along with our Vice Chancellor and both the directors, UP and Uttarakhand were there. So we were all busy. One sad news is this, that we got our cultural program cancelled at about 7 p.m. with after a confirmation of news that one of our junior colleague, Dr. R.B. Shukla, he is no more. It was news there at about 5 p.m., but we took time to take it confirmed. He was diagnosed with colon carcinoma just 2 months back. Up to 2 months, he was very much busy in our traditional curriculum program. He was the co-host for that. So his wife is also medical officer here in Gurukul Gangli, and he was posted in Rishikul. So with that, his sudden demise, we just got back our culture program and just shifted to prepone the dinner, and that's why I could join you at about 8:30. So first of all, our respect and regards to Professor C.V. Jha sir, Professor Madan Thengwelu sir, and our Professor Vinod Prakash Upadhyay sir, Professor Dr. Ved Naveen Gupta ji, Dr. Annapurna ji, Mr. Sachin Awasthi ji, Dr. Jagdish Doma ji, Dr. Raghavendra Prasad ji, Dr. Shivakanya Prasad ji, Dr. Saeed Hamiz Razvi ji, Dr. Rishi, and Dr. D. Anil Kumar, Dr. Naveen Sharma, and Dr. Pathiva Lamba, Dr. Ravi Gogia, and Mr. Soumya Sharma, along with our guest speakers, the 5-1, Dr. Acharya ji, Ravindran ji, Professor K.K. Pandey sir from BHU, Dr. Madhu Sharma, and Dr. P. Mallikarjun Rao. And one Piyush Juneja ji was also there from Ghaziabad. See, the fact is that I was very much interested to listen for the first time Dr. Madhu Sharma as she was joining. She is a botanist and comes from our Chinmadi College. I'm also thankful that she invited Soumya also. Candidates and or students like Soumya will be our great strength to see with their newer thought and innovative views. We crashed when it was 27 in number, the attendance. So I could join the discussion only. So along with our 6.14, 6:15 बजे मैं प्रोफेसर गुरु जी को सुन रहा था, उन्होंने इंट्रोडक्टरी दिया था, उसके बाद से फिर मैं अपने उस काम में बिजी हो गया. तो जो डिस्कशन आया उसमें जो एक बहुत बड़ी चीज अभी उपलब्धि के रूप में आई कि द root juice of cannabis itself is a great treatment like antidote to reduce down the after effect or the overdosing effect of cannabis. So this is one thing. It is another outcome of the whole of our webinar. Along with the addiction subject is concerned, we of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept, we of Sarve Bhut Hite Rataha, we of Swasthya Swasthya Rakshanam concept will never think and allow to go for any addiction medicine in a form of wish, upwish, or even diazepam or any of that nature to ruin down the whole of the human body along with the mind and soul, which has been a grace of God. So let anybody should not come forward for consumption of such medicines which may lead to a toxicity or addiction on the prolonged use. This should be a message to be conveyed by today's webinar. The medical use, which is always in a purified form, and that too in a very recommended dose, as an ingredient is used in our rus preparations, then they definitely give the benefit to the user. This is what my submission of today's webinar. Cannabis or Datura alba or other opium preparations, these are there, but they should be used in a very proper and disciplined manner. Then only we will be having our best results of health and the best use of these ingredients. Thank you so much. And again, over to Pawan Sharma. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Madan sir, ending remarks.
Thank you, Pawanji. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. You have challenged us again, number one, and I hope particularly some points have come out, particularly from Piyush ji and Pandey ji. They have helped us see this problem a little more clearly. And I think together with the scholarship in BHU, I hope together with scholarship in Uttarakhand, Avasti ji, who is here with us, who has now permission to collect, and also Acharya ji, I hope a local network can be formed that will take perhaps a discussion point जो नवीन गुप्ता जी ने जो बताया जी कि थोड़ा और स्पेशलाइजेशन की तरफ, और जुनेजा जी की जो कमेंट की OTC is a bit too much, you know, उसको थोड़ा टेंशन, उसको रिसॉल्व कैसे करें, commercial thing, yes, OTC and the Ayush very specialized area जी. Ayush में इतनी हमारी इसमें कितनी specialization है, और उसको कैसे उसके ऊपर थोड़ा करें चर्चा आगे, and that will be a very big advance. And perhaps Acharya ji will take some of these messages to CCRS and onwards to the ministry and also to the related ministries who are dealing with all the regulations to think about all this. Pawanji, you have touched earlier on mercury, and we have raised some very, very important points. And is using Vijaya as an example, we are touching many, many other areas: sustainable cultivation, livelihood generations, quality of products, development of new skills for specialized practice, and perhaps even some very important research area for the future. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. There is only one hand raise here, Pawan ji. एक है हमारे साथ साइद जी, राजवी जी. साइद जी, अगर साइद जी से थोड़ा सुने. साइद जी,
Sure.
साइद जी, नमस्कार.
नमस्कार, अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम. साइद जी, आप कहाँ से जुड़ रहे हो जी आज?
मैं हैदराबाद से बात कर रहा हूँ सर. अनंता विजया वेलनेस क्लिनिक से बात कर रहा हूँ सर.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आप you should have joined and commented earlier. इतनी देर कैसे बैठे रहे?
मैं एक्चुअली डिस्कशन में था.
अच्छा.
तो मेरा डाउट ये था सर कि मेडिकल कैनबिस जो है हाइपरटेंशन वाले पेशेंट को भी दे सकते हैं, और उसमें उसका जो है कितना उपयोग है और कितना उसमें जो है कम होगा हाइपरटेंशन. ये मेरा सवाल है सर.
ये रवि जी का सवाल भी यही था. सही जी आपकी जो
नहीं मैं इस बारे में बोलना चाहता हूँ सर.
हाँ जी, प्लीज
सर.
मेरी 30 साल की प्रैक्टिस में कम से कम 250 से 300 एंजाइटी वाले पेशेंट्स को दिया है. इट इज रियली मूड एलिवेटर. उनमें से कई लोग आज 25-25 साल से खा रहे हैं, और वो भी कोई शोधित नहीं, क्योंकि ये हेम्प अभी आई है. आयुर्वेद के प्रोडक्ट मिलते नहीं थे. वो सिंपल छोटी सी भांग की गोली 25 साल से खा रहे हैं. आज तक ना तो कोई बुरा इफेक्ट हुआ, और कोरोना भी उनको छू के निकल गया.
जियो सही बात है, बिल्कुल सही बात है.
सही जी. बहुत
ओवरडोज ना हो कि वो एकदम नशा कर दे, लेकिन एज ए मेडिसिन मेरे ख्याल से विजया जो है वो वाकई में विजय दिलाने वाली है. सेफ है और नॉन टॉक्सिक. अब कोई आदमी रोज नशे में टुन्न रहना चाहेगा, दैट इज सेपरेट.
जी सर, एक जैसे आपने अभी बताया कि इसकी साइड इफेक्ट ना हो, एडिक्शन ना हो, उसी प्लांट का, भांग के प्लांट का अगर रस ले लिया जाए तो वो साइड इफेक्ट नहीं होंगे सर.
ये हर आदमी की एक में रवि जी
सोचिए सर, प्रैक्टिकली कहाँ मिलता है मार्केट में हमारे को भांग का पौधा कहाँ मिलेगा और रस कहाँ निकालेंगे?
भाई हम लोगों के उत्तर भारत में होली पे भांग की गुजिया तक बनती थी और छोटे बड़े सब खा लेते थे। ऐसे एक आध बार कुछ कम डोज खाने में दिक्कत नहीं होती।
वो थाईलैंड मेरे को पीयूष जी के प्रेजेंटेशन में एक अच्छा लगा कि थाईलैंड के प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने बांटी। मेरे को तो लगता है ये संसद के गेट पे रख देनी चाहिए, वहां से आदमी घुसेगा, कोई लड़ाई नहीं, कोई झगड़ा नहीं, सब शांति से हंसते हंसते बाहर आए।
सर ये क्वेश्चन जो
पहले श्रीलंका में रखवाइए, पहले श्रीलंका में रखवाइए।
अच्छा सर, ये प्रैक्टिकली आंसर नहीं है। किसी भी अगर हम भांग के टॉक्सिसिटी को कम करना चाहते हैं, साइड इफेक्ट कम करना चाहते हैं, तो उसका प्लांट का रस ले लें। सर दिल्ली में जैसे शहर में सर आपको कोई भांग मिलेगा नहीं, तो टॉक्सिसिटी के लिए भाव प्रकाश में लिखा है कि दूध से बनी
आपके रेलवे स्टेशन पर मिलता है।
तो कहाँ मिलता है?
रेलवे स्टेशन अजमेरी
सर नहीं मिलता है, सर नहीं मिलता है, पुलिस वाले पकड़ लेंगे सर, ऐसी बात नहीं है।
वाले के पास।
हाँ जी। अच्छा सर, ये प्रैक्टिकली आंसर नहीं लगता, क्योंकि सर बुक्स में भाव प्रकाश में लिखा हुआ है दूध से बनी हुई चीजें, दूध, घी, दही और ये आपका अनार का रस और अमरूद का रस, ये लेंगे तो ठीक है। बट ये सर कहीं आपने रेफरेंस कहीं नहीं लिखा हुआ कि इसका देने से ऐसा प्लांट का रस देंगे तो ठीक हो जाएगा, ऐसा कहीं रेफरेंस है क्या? और वैसे प्रैक्टिकली फीजिबल में नहीं है, भांग कहाँ मिलेगा हमारे को ऐसा प्लांट?
पवन जी, दिस इज योर,
इसमें हरिद्वार के उत्तराखंड के अग्निहोत्री जी हैं, वहाँ तो रोड के साइड में लगी रहती है।
सर दिल्ली में किसी को साइड इफेक्ट
खूब इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, कार्डियो ने पूरे पौधे उखाड़ लिए।
सर दिल्ली में किसी को साइड इफेक्ट हो जाए तो हरिद्वार जाएगा, पहले 6 घंटे की ट्रैवलिंग करके, भैया हमारे को चाहिए, उसको प्रॉब्लम हो रही है। मैं चाहता हूँ
ये क्वेश्चन रवि जी ये क्वेश्चन अपने अपने एक्सपीरियंस के हैं। यदि दिल्ली में नहीं मिलती तो क्वेश्चन पूछना ही बेकार है, क्योंकि जब मिलती ही नहीं है चीज तो जाना नहीं, उस गांव के कोस क्यों गिरना।
सर हमें ना हेम्प सीड से मिलती है वो टैबलेट बनी हुई, पाउडर मिल रहा है।
सर एक चीज मैं कहना चाहूंगा इस पे।
हाँ जी।
कि आप भांग की पत्ती की बात कर रहे हैं, मैं बोलता हूँ केरल में आपको भांग का बीज नहीं मिलेगा जो एनडीपीएस एक्ट के बाहर है। एक्चुअली इशू ये नहीं है, एक्चुअली इशू ये है कि जो सारी स्टेट्स है ना, उन स्टेट्स ने इस पे लॉ नहीं बनाए हैं। मध्य प्रदेश में, राजस्थान में, उत्तर प्रदेश में आपको भांग भी मिल जाएगी, पर आप केरल चले जाओ, तमिलनाडु चले जाओ, वहां बीज भी आपके जेब में होगा तो आपको एनडीपीएस तक लगा देंगे। इशू ये है कि हमको जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया है उसको तैयार करना है कि एक एनोनिमस टाइप का एक एक्ट बनाए, पास करे, जिसमें हम काम कर सकें, इंडस्ट्री खड़ी कर सकें। मेरा ये एक छोटा सा निवेदन है।
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल अवस्थी जी, वेरी क्लियर, वेरी क्लियर जी आपकी पॉइंट। अवस्थी जी, हमारी तरफ से ये निवेदन है कि वो थोड़ा वो बायोडाइवर्सिटी, नेचुरल,
डोंट वरी, इस विषय पे हम लोग बहुत सारी वेबिनार कंडक्ट करने वाले हैं सर, पीछा नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
सर मुझे जोड़िएगा। और एक चीज मैं और कहना चाह रहा हूँ, जो मैंने लाइसेंस लिया है, इस लाइसेंस पे मैं कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज के साथ, वुमेन सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के साथ काम करना चाह रहा हूँ, जिसमें फाइबर वगैरह का एक्सट्रैक्शन और सीड का एक्सट्रैक्शन महिलाओं से कराया जाए और पत्तियां जो है वो हम लोग करें।
बढ़िया जी।
तो ये एक मतलब इसको हम चाह रहे हैं कि आम पब्लिक इसको अच्छे से ले, इसका जो बुरा प्रभाव है वो कम हो, थोड़ा सा पैसा आने लगेगा लोगों के पास, तो हो सकता है लोग ध्यान दें इस पे। तो इस पे अगर आप लोगों को जो उत्तराखंड वाले हैं, अगर कुछ लगता है कि कुछ हमारी मदद कर सकते हैं या हमसे कुछ मदद ले सकते हैं, तो मोस्ट वेलकम है। मेरा नंबर मैंने चैट बॉक्स में डाल दिया है।
अवस्थी जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। योर पॉइंट, ये जो कोऑपरेटिव वाला सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप, एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन, थोड़ा सा नया स्किल डेवलपमेंट, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। बट हमारी तरफ से आई हैव ओनली वन रिक्वेस्ट अवस्थी जी, थोड़ा सा वो जर्म प्लाज्म डाइवर्सिटी और बायोडाइवर्सिटी की मैपिंग करें, हमारी फॉरेस्ट एफआरआई के साथ थोड़ा करें, उनके पास है पूरा टेक्नोलॉजी, देहरादून वालों के पास है पूरा वो जीआईएस टेक्नोलॉजी, जिससे सैटेलाइट इमेज, ड्रोन वगैरह लगा के,
स्टेट मेडिसिनल प्लांट बोर्ड के पास है सर,
एनएमबीपी के पास भी है। चलो, सो दिस इज अ रिक्वेस्ट जी।
सर कहीं कनेक्ट कर देंगे आप कोई नंबर?
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल। क्योंकि उस लेवल पे जानी चाहिए जी। हर एक गांव ब्लॉक में, हर एक ब्लॉक में, अब उत्तराखंड में है, you have 13 districts, about 96 blocks or something, and every detailed mapping must be done. बहुत detailed mapping, and that must be taken to a state level. आपकी उत्तराखंड उसकी क्या है, एनवायरमेंट साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी या साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी बोर्ड आपके शायद है, उनका नाम क्या है जी?
सर यूकॉस्ट के साथ कर सकते हैं।
हाँ जी, दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग, एग्जैक्टली उत्तराखंड साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी वालों के साथ। आई थिंक वी कैन पुट द प्रपोजल जी, अवस्थी जी। आई विल बी हैप्पी टू हेल्प विद दिस प्रपोजल। छोटा सा एक प्रपोजल बायोडाइवर्सिटी के ऊपर, और उसमें ले आएंगे जी हमारी पंतनगर वालों की, उसके अंदर थोड़ा सा बायोडाइवर्सिटी के ऊपर।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल इसको करेंगे सर। सर आप अपना नंबर प्लीज शेयर करें।
हाँ जी, आई एम जस्ट पुटिंग इट इन में। उसमें वी विल ब्रिंग एफआरआई वाले और पंतनगर वाले थोड़ा सा डिस्कस करके वी विल पुट अ वेरी गुड प्रपोजल फॉर दिस वन जी।
ओके थैंक यू वेरी मच सर, इट्स वेरी हेल्पफुल।
I put, Avasti ji, I'm putting my number here chat box में.
Thank you.
Uttarakhand Council for Science and Technology, उनके साथ UCOST, that's right. Thank you.
जी मेरी एक बार बात हुई जी।
हाँ जी, हमारे साथ अग्निहोत्री जी भी है ऋषिकेश से। We will discuss this point and then make छोटा सा एक proposal feedback है जी, UCOST के साथ और FRI वालों के साथ। Thank you. So शायद अग्निहोत्री जी will be able to guide us a little more, क्योंकि पहाड़ों में अभी भी है जी natural variation and we must catch it first before we lose it. This is very important.
अग्निहोत्री जी का नंबर भी शेयर करिए प्लीज।
हाँ जी बिल्कुल है, चैट बॉक्स में बिल्कुल फर्स्ट में है अग्निहोत्री जी का नंबर भी।
जी सर, अब गुड नाइट करें सर।
हाँ जी पवन जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
मधु शर्मा जी की माता जी क्या, उनको प्रणाम कर रहा हूँ।
जी सर, सर ये मेरी मम्मी है एंड शी इज आल्सो वेरी इंटरेस्टेड। थोड़ा लेट हो गया आज, पूरा नहीं सुन पाए।
आप भी देखिए सामने ना, आप बता रही हैं, आप क्यों डर रहे हैं? स्क्रीन काफी बड़ा है, हमारे सब लोग का
प्रणाम जी। झा साहब बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मधु जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जी।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू एवरीवन।
थैंक यू।
ये देखो जी कमाल, हम तो
शुभरात्रि, गुड नाइट एवरीवन।
गुड नाइट एवरीबॉडी,
वेरी वेरी गुड नाइट।
सर एक चीज, हेलो।
हाँ जी
सर एक चीज और कहना चाह रहा था, मैं शायद लेट ज्वाइन किया था मीटिंग, तो अग्निहोत्री जी का नंबर दिख नहीं रहा है।
हाँ जी चैट बॉक्स में है जी रवि जी, अश्वति जी आई हैव जस्ट पुट इट इन द चैट बॉक्स। अग्निहोत्री का नंबर ईमेल वगैरह चैट बॉक्स में है। प्लीज टेक इट बिफोर पवन जी कट्स अस ऑफ, प्लीज टेल अस।
जी सर, वो एक्चुअली मुझे दिख नहीं रहा है ऊपर।
अच्छा आई विल सेंड इट टू यू, आई विल सेंड इट। आपका तो है, आई विल सेंड इट टू यू नाउ, अभी भेज दूं आपको।
जी
व्हाट्सएप में, क्योंकि आपके नंबर तो है व्हाट्सएप चैट बॉक्स में, अभी भेज दूं।
थैंक यू।
शुभ रात्रि।
गुड नाइट सर, गुड नाइट टू ऑल सर।
पवन जी शुभ रात्रि। अग्निहोत्री जी